Hello everyone, this is Brother Benson and I'm joined with Makobura. Makobura, habari ya jioni?
Hello, good evening. Niko salama, jioni yangu iko vyema. Nashukuru, jioni mabaya. Nashukuru Bwana.
Unashukuru Bwana, unajua? Hali yangu iko shwari. Niko vizuri, siwezi lalamika. Unaona, kwa sababu nimeamka vyema na napumua. Yenye si rahisi sana. Kuna wale ambao labda wangetamani kuona siku ya leo ama jioni ya leo kama ambao sasa sisi tumekuja hapa tunazungumza, hawajakuwa na bahati hiyo, unaona. So mi nashukuru sana. Na unajua kwa kawaida kama siku ya leo ni siku ambayo inakuwaga muhimu sana kwa wengi, kwa sababu kuna wale ambao labda walikuwa wakifanya kazi kuanzia Jumatatu mpaka mwisho wa wiki, lakini kama siku ya leo unapata kwamba wanaenda kupigia mwili pole. We uko na mpango ya kuenda kupigia mwili pole ama we mpango yako ni gani?
Ni kweli kwa every Friday. Sana sana Wakenya wengi wao wakishafanya kazi wiki mzima, basi Friday most of time wanamuanga ya kwamba waende wakae mahali wapigie mwili asante. And it's a good thing, you know, once in a while, after being busy, after overworking, you know, after doing so many things which really drains energy, thoughts, and so many things, you need time to also find peace for yourself, to also make yourself happy, you know, because, you know, when you get to a point where you get to a point where you'll be free, hivyo basi akili inatulia, akili inapoteza mawazo mingi, na ni kama inarudi inakuwa freshi.
Unapata kwamba ili kupumzisha akili, kwa sababu unajua kwa lugha ya Kimombo tunaweza sema kwamba mental health ni jambo ambalo lipo. Na unapata kwa asilimia kubwa ya mazungumzo yetu huwa hatuzungumzi sana. Tunaweza tuzungumzia pale ambao tunaona kwamba matukio imetokea kwa ule mtu ambao labda tulikuwa tunamjua, tukaona kwamba hii ni nini, unasema jamaa kama kwamba ako na shida na tuseme kwamba mental na vitu kama hizo. Lakini nadhani pia ni vizuri pia, hata kama unaenda kupumzika ama unaenda kwa sehemu za uburudani ama sehemu za kujistarehisha, pia uangalie unajistarehisha vipi. Unajua kuna zile starehe ambao labda zinaweza kuja na zikuje na maafa. Kuna wengi ambao wametoka kazi wakasema kwamba wanaenda kujistarehisha ama kupigia mwili pole, lakini baadaye wamekunywa kupindukia, wakafanya jambo ambalo kisha baadaye inaleta mauti. So hiyo pia lazima tuzingatie. Asante sana. Naona Brenda ameshaingia.
Yeah, maybe before, you know, we've spoken about mental health, and you know, good mental health offers several benefits. Like, you know, when you're mentally healthy, and this mental health you get it when you are somewhere relaxed, when umepunguza mambo zote, na inakufanya, it increases enjoyment. Unapata ukienda mahali, you know, mnapiga story, you find yourself fully enjoying it, and you know, it also helps you to recognize even the people around you. You know, kama kuna stress mingi, unaweza tambua vitu mingi, and then it fosters what we call creativity. You know, once your brain is fully loaded with so many things, and then you try to relieve some, it gives you the room for creativity, and you know, after that point you can really explore so many things and get to learn so many things. Again, it also builds emotional resilience.
Mm-hmm.
Directly connected with our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
It also strengthen even the relationship between you and your friends and the people that you are in relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is effectively managed, and it can really, someone can really give the best of his ability. So it's
Okay.
one vital that needs to be looked into.
Mm.
Currently, we have to accept one thing. In Kenya, the mental health,
Yeah.
the people of Kenya is not really well managed because the
Mm-hmm.
people of Kenya majority are really going through a lot.
Yeah.
Issues to do with unemployment, issues to do with pressure from workplaces,
Mm-hmm.
issues to do with the things that we interact with on a
Mm.
normal daily basis. It really
Yeah.
gives a lot of pressure to the mind, to an extent that you'll find that people are not really ready to focus, and that is why, for example, you see there are so many accidents currently in the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
Part of the problems like accidents and so many things, they come as a result of disturbed mentals. When your mind
Oh,
is disturbed, then you cannot fully reason, you cannot give the
well,
best of you tend to forget so many things and you'll not make right judgment.
okay. Thank you so much. And let me take this opportunity to thank our Ndwari. Hi. Za masiku tuko salama, tuja kuona kwa siku mingi. We hope and believe that you are doing fine. Makobura, also is not something that we are going to talk about, but like you need also to have like a circle of your own that usually can come to your rescue, especially when it comes to issue to do with mental health and depression. Is something that is usually a killer, silent killer. By the time you realize you are gone. So that is something that maybe one day we need to dedicate time and bring in somebody who is expert in mental health, especially, and how should we manage it? Because I can remember there's a time I reached out to one of our good friends. He was a comedian, but unajua kwa ile unapata kwamba saa zingine IGP, you're trying so hard but now is not paying, and ulikuwa kwa hii maisha ya juu kabisa, lakini unapata kama IGP, so unapata kwamba unaanza kufikiria mengi, kisha baadaye unapata uko hospitali. Asante sana. Thank you so much for everyone who is watching and everyone who has joined us. This is Brother Benson. If you're new, yep.
Yeah. Maybe one thing that I wanted to add on that, now that you've
Yeah.
brought, I remember we've had conversations with quite a number of, there's a comedian who actually brought this issue of mental health.
Yeah.
And I think we need to create time and talk about mental health because, when somebody's mentally when somebody is mentally affected,
Yeah.
then it is directly connected to even our physical health. You'll find that in many instances, poor mental health can lead to physical issues. We've
Yeah.
seen so many people die because of uh, cardiovascular problems, mambo na
Mm-hmm.
heart problem, heart attack. Part of
Mm.
that is coming out of the
Health.
mental health. And
Oh,
then
okay.
the issues of weakened immune functions.
Mm.
When you are disturbed, it affects even your immunity and how your body organs also work and how they um, how they manage things like diseases and their normal working, the way they normally work. So we need to find time
Mm-hmm.
and have someone who is knowledgeable in that field,
Yes.
and we get to understand, because there are so many things that we Africans we tend to ignore. I remember I used to have some friends who are in Europe.
Yeah.
Their mental health and their physical health is really a serious matter, to an extent that, in Kenya, for example, I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Things like going to dentist.
Yeah.
Majority of the people of Kenya, I can tell you, me included,
Oh.
I've you know I've never visited the dentist since I was born, and I can tell you that. But I know if I was in other country like Europe, I
Mm-hmm.
hear there's a calendar and you have to go, and if you've not gone, it becomes like a case. So there are so many things that we don't take for granted, yes, but I think it also depends with the environment where we are and how
Yes. Yeah,
how
and
we
how we treat, yes, Makobura, I agree with you. Even me, I might be amongst the list of people who have not visited the doctors for the dentist appointment. But like, that's how it tells how we look at the health. You know, it's also depend on the system of the country and how they treat the healthcare and all that. So thank you so much. And I think we should find a time to talk about the healthcare system, especially how should we maintain, do we do for, because like I know that those who go for physical checkup, that is the one after every year to see if everything is okay. So that is a topic for another day. We will have expert here if we manage to get one, so that we can come and discuss about the issues to do with health. And again, this is Brother Benson Media. If you're watching us for the very first time, or if you're joining this conversation, you can also share your view, especially on matter of mental health and health in general, so that we can get your view in the comment section. And also, again, if you're new here, you can subscribe to the channel and be part of the conversation that we are going to have today. Makobura, I want you to weigh your thoughts on, because we wanted to discuss the issue to do with regarding Gashagua. He had from sources say that he has abolished his ambition for presidential bid 2027, and he wants to focus on consolidating Mount Kenya. As we are looking into that, a few hours ago, Chief Justice Honorable Martha Karua, no, sorry about that, Chief Justice Martha Koome retains the 3 judges bench appointed by Deputy Milu, that is Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima, and Frida Mugambi to hear former Deputy President impeachment case. So the judges have been maintained, the Chief Justice has maintained the judges that were appointed by the Deputy Chief Justice to hear the impeachment case for Rigathi Gachagua. So what now is the way forward? They'd already made a ruling. So what is going to change their mind? So those are some of the questions now we are asking. What is going to change their mind? Or now, are they going to go with the ruling they made earlier, or they're going to have different view? Remember, also time has elapsed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, on the matter of, I think maybe I start with the case, the case of Rigathi Gachagua. Remember, the Constitution says that for him to be allowed to run for any political seat, then remember he was impeached, and the impeachment, of course, somehow bars him or stops him from actively coming out to present himself for an elective post. But again, remember, the court, the Constitution also says that for him to be allowed, he has to go through all the legal processes which are there. And unless he's found to have been guilty, then he would be somehow barred from, running for any political post. But remember, this is an ongoing case. It has not been fully finished, and there's no any full judgment that has come out. So far, as things stands, he has that capability of presenting himself. But again, I think he has slowed down based on, for example, the advices from his legal team. Remember, this is something that you cannot really tell how it's going to turn in the near future. There is a possibility that the court might say that everything was done in accordance with the law, in accordance with the Constitution, and at the same time, the court might say that things are not, they didn't follow the law. So it is a 50-50 thing, and is not really aware of the final pronouncement of the court. But what I can say is that I think that is part of the reason that he has slowed down his quest for presidential bid, because he's not fully aware of what might come out. He might be stopped, or he might get the opportunity to proceed. And based on that, he's currently, we have to accept one thing, that is the most active opposition leader currently. And he has a right just like any other Kenyans. But remember, him slightly, the Constitution bars him to some extent. But again, looking at the circumstances, the current circumstances, I think he looked at For example, remember the case was taken back to the High Court, and the court said that the Deputy Chief Justice did not have the mandate to form a bench that would then listen to the case. So out of that, of course, it was taken, and now the Chief Justice has to follow the due process laid in the Constitution to ensure that the pronouncement of the bench was right or not. But unfortunately, to the former Deputy President, the Chief Justice, in our own knowledge, has decided to maintain the bench that was then selected by the Deputy Chief Justice. To me, this is a case that had gone through the three judges.
Yeah.
And they've been appointed again to relook into it. I don't really think there's going to be much. I don't think if they're going to change their judgment, because that, of course, might then land them into some problems, because we will ask, what then made you at that particular time to make rulings that you made? What has changed? So to me, where I see it, I don't think there's going to be any new if there's going to be any change in their judgment, based on the circumstances and all the evidence that were brought before them. Remember, they were very strict in their ruling, and they gave their reasons. And so if they change it, it is actually, it is a serious thing that really needs to be looked into, because, but the Deputy President still has, she still has that room to appeal, and also to say that he's not comfortable with the same, because remember, his team had said that they were not comfortable with the the bench that was selected by the DCI. So they still have that room. They can still go to court and say that we don't feel they have what it takes. They're going to be fair and the rest, and then they wait for the pronouncement of the court. In either way, they might accept or they might decline, based on how they will present their case.
Okay, one thing that we have to agree, me and you, even though we do not have that legal background, we talk as a layman. I wish Miguda was here, could have given us more insight about the law and what are the repercussions, or what we are looking at this case. But something that we also have to agree here, and our viewers can also agree with me, that when it comes to Kenya, the 2010 constitution is one of those constitutions of Kenya that has been tested. The Kenyans have it has been tested in terms of elasticity. How elastic is the constitution? How can it stretch? Because there are some judgment that has always been given, or some ruling that have always been given that have not sit well with either some quarters and have sat well with other quarters, but it has tested some of the fundamental issues, especially when it comes to law, and especially when you come to the case of Rigathi Gachagua. The case of Rigathi Gachagua will be one of those impeachment processes in the country that will go in the book of history, because every time you listen to aftermath, especially like yesterday, I had an opportunity to watch and listen to the senator, the nominated senator Orioba, when she was talking about, and in the process she was asked if she regrets impeaching Rigathi Gachagua. Yes, she said yes. And you come and ask yourself, why do you regret? Because it feels that it was not informed. Even the people who are making those decisions to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, they did not have anything concrete against Rigathi Gachagua, but because it was of political influence. And I agree with one of the analysis that I saw today, because like I was going through analysis, and I agree with somebody who said that the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua did not start in the Senate or in the Senate. The impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua started immediately when, especially maybe the circles of president and the president himself knew that Rigathi has a very strong stand. He has his own stand, whether he might take a wrong stand. Yeah, he's not going to say yes to any of the anything that people agree on, And if he decide that, okay, this is my way, he can stand on his principality and say that, okay, 10 people are going this other side, 100 people are going this side, but I will go with the 10. And that is the kind of man who he is, because based on how now we are seeing on how his stand is. So his impeachment, I don't think was initiated because of what he stand for, or especially advocating for Mount Kenya. The way he said that he was a cheap tribalist and all that, because all that the tribal and everything has been part of our politics, and that's how our politics has been. But I think his stand and his view on some of the things, maybe even if they disagreed on the business or how they're going to organize the cabinet. So that is the main reason that I think he was impeached. He was not impeached because all those allegations that was brought against him. No, but it was more or less of political. So we will see how this will test our constitution. Especially, these are the judges that the legal team of Rigathi Gachagua did not have, confident in, and the same juries, the same bench has been brought. Then the constitution say because they were unconstitutionally benched, now they are constitutionally benched with the powers that is given by the Come, now, which means now the case are going to start afresh. And when the case is going to start afresh, what about those MPs now that were saying that this was motivated, I was coerced, and all that? So we don't know how it's going to turn out. But one thing that we have to agree, Makobura, that the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua has also given us on how our politics is. It has created Rigathi Gachagua that people did not know, because nobody knew that Rigathi Gachagua could wither and become a center of conversation, whether you call him tribal or we call him what. But something that we have to agree in the political landscape of Kenya right now, Rigathi Gachagua has a say, and is the most discussed right now as we speak, the most discussed Kenyan politician in the country when we come to the political, whether you want to discuss it more negatively, whether you want to talk to him more positively. But we have to agree that his impeachment has created Rigathi Gachagua on the eyes of so many people. On the other hand, has created a negative Rigathi Gachagua that people called tribalist or what. It depends. And also it has created a Rigathi Gachagua that people see as a truthful man. So his impeachment alone has created that. And that his impeachment has also given a birth to his political party. That is something that we have to
agree. I agree with you because this gentleman, Rigathi Gachagua, I think not many Kenyans really knew about him. He just came into the limelight when the president was appointing, when he had two options of either going to appoint Professor Kindiki or appointing Rigathi Gachagua. And remember, the people of Kenya, majority of the supporters of the president, they were in support of Professor Kindiki. Professor Kindiki, having been in the limelight, he had been seen by the people of Kenya in so many court cases. Again, he was a senator of Tharaka Nithi, if I'm not wrong. And while he was serving as a senator, he really spoke about so many things and he also stood with the people of Kenya so many times, if you can remember. And part of that, he was even demoted from being the deputy speaker to just a normal senator. Rigathi Gachagua, not so many people knew about him because he was just a member of parliament of a constituency in Nyeri County called Madeira. But I think the reason why the the president liked him was, one, because of he's a hardliner. He's a hardliner. Actually, they share the same qualities with the president, if I'm not wrong. President William Ruto is also a hardliner, and that's a fact. And part of the reason, or if you want reasons for that, if you remember when they were looking for the coalition government, he's among the people who really fought so hard to ensure that they stood firm and they were given some positions in that government. So, of course, along the way, they had their issues. when they were elected, and just like you've said it, I think he's a hardliner and is not someone that can be easily convinced. If you want to convince him, you have to give him facts, or that thing has to be in one way or another, as I mean, helping him, or he's also benefiting. If
Yeah.
he's not benefiting and he sees something that is going somewhere, then he will block by all means, and
Yeah.
that is who Rigathi Gachagua is. One of the
Okay.
facts that we have to agree is that Rigathi Gachagua was not impeached because he's a tribal person. He was not impeached because he's corrupt. He was not impeached because he was insubordinating. I mean, not respecting his boss. The truth of the matter is, this was a political movement dictated by political moves, and he was impeached based on his stance of not easily agreeing with, most of the things that were being done in that government. So I
Okay.
partly agree with that, but what also we need to ask is, as a people, because this is a case that touches touches so many things, the leadership of the Republic of Kenya. So as a people of Kenya, we also need to get competent judges who are going to listen to this and give a ruling that any person in the Republic of Kenya would say that there was a case here and this gentleman was given justice. Remember the ruling of the previous judges and the impeachment process, the whole of impeachment process, it has been questioned. It has been questioned by learned friends. It has been, I mean, questioned by judges, by lawyers, by members of parliament. The reason why it is being questioned is because of the way it was, hurriedly done, and there are so many issues, questions on whether the constitution was followed. Was the process free and fair? Because we have a constitution that guarantees the
Yeah.
people of Kenya a fair hearing and justice. So there has been so many accusations that have been directed to the judges who gave the opinion on that, and even the whole process of impeachment. It would
Okay.
be good if they look into it and give true facts and justice to whoever is affected. That is my take.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makobura, for your take. And this is what Speak and Heal. Welcome to the show. And this is said, Gashagua was money bag for Mr. Ruto. Yes, those are some of the reasons even people are giving. And something that we should not take away about Rigathi Gachagua. Then now, Rigathi Gachagua has shown resilience as somebody who doesn't give up because when you look at the journey that he has have and now even abandoning his presidential bid, from the time the impeachment case came to the time he went all those through mental torture and everything and coming up with his unveiling his party, and now he's going to official launch of the party is going to be on 3rd June. So it tells you that this is a guy who is so much determined and is somebody who has the right path, is somebody who knew from the beginning that this war that has really started, I know where I'm going to end it, but he has that spirit that I'm going to win it. And that is something that we have to agree. When you look at in politics, any politics are always have that calculated moves. Even at the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua, what was happening was maybe at some point the handlers knew that in the 2027 general election, by him being around, he could have.
You know what, Brother Benson?
Yeah.
If you ask me, I think part of the reason why Rigathi Gachagua is being talked about by the people of Kenya is because Kenyans are learned people, and that's a fact. As much as we have different political views, as much as we have different reasoning, as much as we've got different tribes, as much as we have different culture and different regions that people are coming from, there are so many people who are learned. Kenyan politics is more of emotional and more of tribal. That's a fact. But remember, if you are Kenyan, most Kenyans are nice people, and they know when someone is not getting justice, they know that this person, as much as I'm in this side or I'm in this side, huyu naye anakanyagiwa vibaya. So there is a good number of people who felt that this gentleman did not receive justice from the government. And part of that reason their emotion drove them, and they felt right. They felt that maybe we should sympathize with him, and out of that sympathy, Rigathi Gachagua has come out to justify the fact that he has come out and given them reasons why truly was not given justice by those who are impeaching him, and that is the reason why there are so many people who have sided with him, and there are so many people who are getting reasons to understand that truly all those things that he was accused of, some of them are not, of as much as they are true. But the fact of the matter is, all politicians, name them from the president to the members, MCs, majority of them are tribal. That's a fact. And if we are getting into giving examples or reasons why they are tribal, I think all Kenyans know the reasons. They are all corrupt. That's a fact. They are all not respecting the people and even their leaders. So all those things that were presented before the Senate, before the National Assembly, on matters of that impeachment. The truth of the matter is, all those members of parliament, all those leaders, they all fall short, and they all are not any cleaner. So they crucified this gentleman, but not on a truthful basis.
Okay, thank you so much. And Douglas Kibogong, thank you so much you have so many questions here that
I don't know what you mean this thing. I think this is the word that is using is one word that has caused a lot of problems in this discussion. So I would just request Douglas to withdraw that comment, because we don't want to go that way. It has caused so many problems. Just like he doesn't want us to talk about 2007, let us not talk about the word that is bringing forth. It is not a good one.
Okay, thank you, Makobura, for that. And as you talked about Rigathi Gachagua, and it's something also that we also have to accept and know that sometimes Rigathi Gachagua might not be having the followings that people might think that he has, but something that we have to agree that there's a group of young or a group of Kenyans who do follow Rigathi Gachagua based on what he's saying, because this Rigathi Gachagua is speaking their language, So the only person that they feel could speak some of the things that they are going through, or maybe something to speak about the government, and you see like how he speak about the government. Remember the other day when he talked about the issue of Ngong Forest, the other, and these are some of the things maybe the public wants to hear, because when you look at Ngong Forest and you find that a total of 5 acres is just hived from the Ngong Forest, and there's an hotel, maybe based on him, that is his allegation, that there's an hotel that is being built over there, and this is a public land. And what are the processes? Because like we have to look at what is the process of acquiring land. That is something that is very important, even on the government side or any other person, especially like you as a person, you want to buy land, you want to acquire land. What are the processes that you should go through? You cannot somebody cannot just tell you, okay, Makubura, here is the land, now you can pay me. No, there are processes that you have to do. One of them include do a search. Official search. The official search will give you the history of the land. Is this land having dispute? If this land has any encumbrances, that is one. If you want to know more, do a certified copy of a green card. The certified copy of a green card will give you the chronology of that land, subdivision, how many people, go to the ground, talk to the neighbors who are surrounding you. Is they having boundary disputes? So, and now go through all the processes. If you don't go through all the processes, sometimes when the matters that are raised in the court, sometimes you cannot win the cases. There are incidences whereby people have lost cases, especially where you have a land with 2 titles. Do you know why somebody is land? Both titles are very genuine, but do you know why you might lose that case? What they're going to look at, they are going to look at the process of acquiring that land. That is what is going to make you to get ownership of that land. Yeah, you can get the genuine certificate, but now when it comes to court cases, now they will look at how did you acquire that land, what processes did you follow, So that's why, like, when such like cases, the allegation that the former deputy president is giving, the Ministry of Land needs to come out and talk about it, because that is an hotel. The Ministry of Tourism should come and talk about it. The people who are in charge of the parents, they could come and talk about it. But if they just keep quiet, it gives
There's a question that you asked, why Rigathi Gachagua is getting massive support. I think the reason why Rigathi Gachagua is getting massive support is, and he really needs to thank God, because remember, he was part and parcel of this government. And the good thing to him is that he was accused to having brought together the Gen Zs and having somehow funded the Gen Zs. And one thing that we need, that was an advantage to him. It has really assisted him politically because he's been associated with the Gen Zs. But we also have to accept this. Remember, the Gen Zs are the people, majority, the Gen Zs, the millennials, they're the people who woke up and decided to go for demonstration. And they went to demonstration in the entire parts of the Republic of Kenya. Then one thing that we need to accept, the Gen Zs are not represented in the government. Just like they've been saying, they're leaderless, they're tribeless, and all those things. They're moneyless, and those they are leaderless. That's a fact. But remember, back into the minds of the Gen Zs, they know that they have their political views. They know everything that is happening in the Republic of Kenya, and the person who is somehow speaking about the things that they had raised, the person who is coming out to represent their views is Rigathi Gachagua. But remember, they are leaderless. So Rigathi Gachagua is getting massive support because he has come at the right time. Right time in the sense that he's come and found a group of young majority of people who are leaderless, who do not have a leader. And partly, Gen Z is not very well that as much as we are leaderless and we are looking towards 2027, you have two options: either decide not to fully participate into the political activities, or choose one whom you feel is somehow safer or somehow speaking to your speaking speaking in the way that you also think. So this is what is happening. So majority of the Gen Zs have found that they do not have a leader, they do not have someone representing their views, but somebody who is somehow representing their views, as much as he's not doing it perfectly or 100%, is Rigathi Gachagua. And that is why in their large number, remember the social media, majority of them are the Gen Zs, the millennials. They are controlling the social media. They are, whenever the former deputy president speaks negatively about the president, what the Gen Zs do is they gather and then they positively or they negatively speak. I mean, they send the same conversation. They send the same message to the rest of people, and that is why now you find that they are somehow aligning with Rigathi Gachagua's mental thinking, and that is why Rigathi has somehow found a good number of Gen Zs, so young people, supporting him in social media. The Gen Zs do not have someone representing their views, and whoever is somehow coming out to be vibrant, coming out to be careful, is of course the one gentleman, Rigathi Gachagua.
Okay, thank you so much. Douglas Kibogong, we will talk about that, and we are waiting for Miguda because Miguda will be in Homa Bay and bringing us all the updates in Homa Bay. So yeah, he's on his way. He has traveled, so he might be joining us soonest, because he's on his way to Homa Bay. That is the agreement. So if he joins us, he will give us all the information about the Homa Bay, because he will be there. He'll be there bringing us the update on Homa Bay. Migude, there's something, Makobura, there's something that is also very key that we have to look at when you look at the loyal opposition. And we know Rigathi Gachagua, based on the some information coming from the people who are very close to him, people who are very close to him are saying that he has shared his ambition and make sure that he consolidates the Mount Kenya votes. And that is what we said at some point, like what Rigathi is going to do is going to consolidate and to make sure that he drives President William Ruto out of Mount Kenya the way they did, or it doesn't have influence in Mount Kenya the way they did to the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Remember how they campaigned against Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who was then had the deep state, had the security, had the IT, had the information and all that, and they came up and they won. But now, something that's also we have to look at as he prepares to launch his party on 3rd of June this year. How will that one influence, or are they going to have the massive exodus that's going to come from the from the UDA or any other political parties to come? Because I saw Kabando also has joined the DCP, if you know, and is going to run for the Nyeri County. He's going to be senator for the Nyeri. I think he said something like that, if I'm not wrong. But now the difficult math is here. We have Matiangi, we have Martha Karua, and we have Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember, Kalonzo Musyoka has stepped down for Raila for how many times?
Mara tatu ama
mara ine, something like, let's say like he has stepped down for 4 times, yeah? And shelved his presidential ambition to support Raila, which he has done. And we have also Rigathi Gachagua is here. Let's say now we take out Rigathi Gachagua out of the equation because he's now going to run for presidency. We have Martha Karua, we have Matiangi. Matiangi has never vied for any presidential, yeah? And we have President William Ruto, who is the incumbent president. So the person that I feel has the most difficult task to do is Kalonzo Musyoka. And you know the reason why? Kalonzo Musyoka is facing 2 things. Kalonzo Musyoka first is facing stepping down again, shelving his political ambition. 2, Kalonzo Musyoka has another way of going and working with President William Ruto. And the reason why I'm saying this, if Kalonzo stepped down for Matiangi, that is going to be the first time. It means he's going to wait for how many years for him to run for presidency?
2 years.
No, 2 terms, because Matiangi that is 10 years. Now,
it would be too hard to continue.
That will be 10 good years waiting for him to vie for his presidency. Now, come to Ruto. President Ruto has how many years?
He has 1 term.
Yeah. So, and that is now, if he wants now to come and support Matiangi or whoever will be going for presidency, he has to look at the 10 years and the 5 years. Are you seeing the math? So that and to me, I feel Kalonzo might go for waiting for the lesser years instead of waiting for the longer years, because even in the 10 years of Matiangi,
I get that, but again, you know, we also have to ask ourselves so many questions. There's, as much as he's going to support the president, remember there are also people in line, and he'll be told that you came late. There is Kindiki, the professor, the deputy president. We also have the cabinet secretary, Musalia Mudavadi is also there online. We also have the speaker, Moses Masika Wetangula, online. Among those who are in the cabinets, position, holding cabinet positions. So as much as he's coming, of course he knows, and it is a calculation that he needs to do. You know, political statements, when we are going for a particular seat, and then I tell you that support me this time around, I'm going to support you next time. You know, those things are not always based on any agreement. It is not a contract that has to be, I mean, they're not treaties that has to be honored. We've seen, for example, for instance, in the case of Raila Amolo Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka, they've had even legal treaties, but immediately they get towards the next election, the treaties become invalid. And the reason why they become invalid is because they say that we did not win. And for that reason, it is null and void. We cannot continue with the same treaty. So we have to make another treaty. So it is not guaranteed. And maybe to also give you an example, if you remember in the last general election, Kalonzo Musyoka had a treaty with Raila that this time round he was supposed to be supported, or he was supposed to be the deputy president. You know, they had to negotiate and bring Martha Karua. What does that tell you? The treaty or the contract they had was actually invalid because of few reasons. So these things are not always honored. It is a calculation that you have to make, and it's a calculation that would take you to that particular office is what really matters. And
Go ahead.
yeah, and I had said something about Gashagua, and Speak and Heal is also confirming here. Gen Zs just want Gashagua to destroy Kasongo, but not to lead them. I agree with Speak and Heal, and just like I was explaining, the Gen Zs are currently siding with Gashagua just because they currently do not have a leader, and anybody who is coming out to criticize the government, who is coming out to actively speak against the Hill motives and all the bad things that are being done with this government, they will always come out to support.
Yeah, well. Oh, okay, thank you so much. Let me take this opportunity to welcome our good friend Gibson Connor. I hope you're doing well. We are here discussing about the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua abandoning his ambition for 2027 presidential bid, and this one comes immediately.
Yeah, actually,
after,
there's also another question that you had asked about
yes,
the launch that is coming in
Kasarani.
Yeah, and you asked that are we going to see a massive crossover from the UDA, for example? Maybe to say that we're not going to see a massive crossover from the UDA to the DCP currently, because UDA has its own constitution, and the DCP also have its own constitution. I don't think the members of UDA who are currently interested and support the deputy president would risk going against the constitution of the UDA currently, because that would come with so many repercussions. One of it is that they might lose their positions, and there's a possibility of elections being called in their respective constituencies or counties.
But go ahead.
And majority of them are not really willing to go that way, because remember, they are politicians, and it's as much as it's like gambling. There's a possibility that when you are taken back to elections, you might win or you might lose. But again, I think you saw what happened to Honorable Gloria Oruoba. She was expelled from the UDA, and part of the reason is that she associated herself with another presidential candidate without the authorization, or that particular presidential candidate associating himself with their ruling party. And so it is not going to be easy. They are not going to fully cross, but what they are going to do, they are going to they will accept. They will be there in that launching, but they'll not even be putting on the colors of another.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And if you mentioned that about the Rioba, and one thing that also sometimes you must to ask Ben, ask Mark, was he in Tanzania? Ngoja, we are coming to Tanzania. Okay. So one of the things that you've talked about, especially when it comes to expelling members of a particular party, remember what happened between the ODM and Aisha Jumwa. It took them long. They were not able to take and because like Honorable Aisha Jumwa went through the courts, until that time the election came in 2022. That's when she left. And remember, she joined the UDA. She would go and sing the UDA with the current deputy president. You remember? And
that's valid. That's a valid example. But again, you have to put in mind that remember, this is a ruling government. And we know what ruling governments have when it comes to swaying their ways or having opinion on the registrar and the courts.
Just remember, even during those days when Aisha Jumwa was supporting the deputy president, then the Orange Democratic Movement was enjoying the government. The government was on their favor. Remember, those are the days when the administration of President Uhuru Kenyatta was working with Raila Amolo Odinga. Yeah. So, but what I know, and I believe, especially when it comes to these political parties' loyalties, and it is so I don't know, it's so ironical, and I don't know whether you can understand it. Like the UDA are working hand in hand with ODM, but there's no problem. and that's how, even when people like
and there's no any structured thing that is connected with the constitution and even with the registrar, and to them, I think it is, I would say this,
yeah,
in the Republic of Kenya, when you have power, as much as there are laws which has to be followed in the Republic of Kenya,
yeah,
when you are in power or you know someone,
yes,
whether you follow the law or not, you will always achieve your intentions.
yeah.
And that is why we are seeing there's no anything that is support. I mean, the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, there's nothing that is anchored. There's no any. I mean, the association of UDA and ODM, it cannot be justified in whichever way, but it is what they're doing things. So it's just lack of following the law.
No, I don't think it's lack of following the law, Makobura. I think it's something that also we've done. We've always done it in our political landscape, where especially you can jump and support another political party, and you fight it through the courts. Remember, earlier, it's February. In February, immediately after the election, we had members of ODM who went and started to work with the president. And they got a backlash, especially Honorable Felix Oduor, Tom Ojenda, Mark Nyamita, all the members that went and said that they're going to bring development. They had a backlash from their party members, but immediately things turned, and now, they did not have any structured when they were going there, and they were told even they did not get the permission to talk with their political party to go. But now that the ODM now is working with the government, it is okay. So I think it is at the art of our politics and how it is being played. And now let's come to the Rigathi Gachagua and him abandoning his 2027 presidential bid. And the courts have also made a pronouncement, especially not the court, sorry, but the Chief Justice has made pronouncement and given the same bench that really worked on the case. And we also have his launching of his political party. Now, when it comes to now consolidating Mount Kenya, and the other day you had Kioni even told Rigathi Gachagua to shelve his ambition for presidential bid so that we can have one candidate, especially from one candidate, and our votes in Mount Kenya should be rallied or should be in one basket. We should support one basket. Now, how is that one going to work? Is it going to be a Jubilee, or is it going to be DCP supporting that? And now, when it comes to elective seats, how are they going to do that? Or they're going.
What I can say is that any political party would want to present a presidential candidate. And Jubilee, of course, they also have a right to push for one of their own, and they have their reasons why they are pushing him. But again, we also have to accept one thing, that the Jubilee Party is fighting to present Matiangi, and they have their reasons. Part of the reasons they are saying that Matiangi has been mentioned by the Gen Zs, and that Matiangi looks like Mr. Fix Him, kind of a person. And they've brought so many things forth, and they're saying that he can deliver. So based on that, they are clinging on him, and they're saying that he's the best candidate that the people that should get to the that should wrestle it with the William Samoei Ruto. But again, DCP also have their right. They also want to present one of their own, who is Gashagua, and they're saying that this gentleman has crisscrossed the path. I'm getting to what you want to ask. They're also saying that this gentleman has, moved throughout, and is one of the people that are currently being talked about in the Republic of Kenya. And so the move by Rigathi Gachagua to slow down on his presidential candidate, it might be based on two things or three, but I'll speak about two. One, it is a threat to William Samoei Ruto and his government, being that they want to take another term come 2027. And Rigathi Gachagua is also eyeing for that 2027. So far, he has confirmed that he has quite a number of support in the entire country. And so his consistency in coming out to tell the president that I'm going to be on the ballot might be already, it is a threat to the president and the Kenya Kwanza side. But again, if there is a threat, what calculations are the Kenya Kwanza going to do? One, remember, Rigathi Gachagua is still having cases which are not yet finished. They might use their powers, being that they're in government, to sway the way or to sway on the way these cases are going to come out. They might also have a hand on part of the final pronouncement by the courts. We've seen political parties, political leaders, conversing with the judiciary, and we've seen cases being tampered with. So there's that possibility. So him coming out to declare that he's going to fight for presidency was a threat. He needed to be silent for quite some time, and he needed not to come out as a presidential candidate, so that the side of Kenya Kwanza would then not know who is going to come out from this side. If it is Matiangi, they know how they're going to they know how they are going to counter that. But in a situation where Rigathi Gachagua is coming, they also need to plan and know how they are going to counter that. So him coming out that is going for presidential election, and then after some few days is retracting, it is a way of him trying to silence himself and also not let the Kenya Kwanza administration know his political intentions in the coming general election, because it might play safer to him in the sense that the leadership of Kenya Kwanza might not get full interest in the outcome of his cases. So I think partly, as much as he's also still interested, I don't think he's saying that he's not interested in presidency. It is just a smart move coming out after several advices from his senior, his legal team, that he should not come out to continue with that ambition of presidency, because it might be used against him. So that is number one. Number two, it might be a move by them trying to slow down, in the sense that, remember, they are looking for coalitions. And when you come out saying that you are going for presidency and you are in that government the other time, it is looked, there's a group of people who view it as you are not being a leader who can give way or support someone. And so your ambitions of taking this government is what you have in mind. You're being forced. You're forcing yourself to get in that position because the hunger in him or the betrayal bit is still in him. So that might be also another level of looking into it.
But Makobura, okay, go ahead.
Somehow his bid for presidential bid might scare these parties who wants to join him. For example, the Jubilee, for example, the Kalonzo team, because Kalonzo has wanted to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, and his party, of course, as in so many instances, say that it is Kalonzo. If it is not him, we are not going to be part of that. So it is a smart move. Remember, the main thing that Rigathi Gachagua wants, just like so many instances, is come out to declare that I do not care who is going to be the president, but what really matters to me is we take William Samoei Ruto home.
And you know, Makobura, something that we also have to agree, especially when we come to Rigathi Gachagua abandoning his presidential bid, and say that, because as you said earlier, one of the things that Rigathi Gachagua has maintained, that he wants to make President William Ruto one term, and is the honor, and is somebody who is, we would say that the narrative or the slogan of one term has come from him. So one of the things that he's trying to do most, because, you know, like, especially as we agree, the Central Kenya, just to be very sincere, to be very sincere and to be very truthful, the Central Kenya, in terms of numerical, yeah, the numbers in Central Kenya, everybody would want to get it. And remember, even during the election of 2022, I still believe, and I still hold today, that by even the Right Honorable Prime Minister appointing Martha KURUA as the running mate was not because they share the same ideology. No. It was because, like, one, Martha KURUA was bringing the gender card. Two, he was also coming with the Central Kenya votes. You know, the numerical power that was behind Martha KURUA, because that was what believed that, okay, and that's why they decided to leave Kalonzo, because if you look at Kalonzo Musyoka and how he has been with Raila, what would make Kalonzo Musyoka to go through an interview, to be very sincere, with those experience, and somebody who has sacrificed almost like 4 times to let you run? You know this person. What are you going to ask him? You know, so that numerical power, yeah, and with that numerical power, so maybe he has seen it wise that if for us to win, or for us to actualize the dreams that we are taking through, then I have to abandon this and support whoever comes to the coalition, so that, one, I actualize what I started. And what I started because, like, one of the main reasons, like, even if you listen to how Rigathi Gachagua talks, his main reason is to make sure that President William Ruto is one term. And this might have been formed by the political stand that happened. Because, you know, when you talk of impeachment, it's like killing your political career. So he also has to make sure that as you kill my political career, there's something, the repayment that is there. Miguda, how are you doing, sir?
Bro, if you can hear me.
Very well.
I'm doing very fine. I'm very much okay. And I'm managing on my end. How about you guys over there?
We are trying very well. I don't want to engage you, especially on Rigathi Gachagua case. That is the second, the question that I'm going to ask you. But I want to bring you to speed. Chief Justice Martha KURUA has maintained the bench that was paneled, or that was benched by Philomena Mwilu, the DCJ. And we know that some of the legal minds were saying that if the Chief Justice appoint the judges, they will start fresh. Will set us fresh to hear this case. So what is going to happen, especially like now, this case was before you, and again, it is brought up before you again for the second time. How is the judgment going to be, especially when you look at the in legal perspective? Did Miguda hear us? Okay. Makubura, as we still wait for Miguda, I think like is muted. Hey, Miguda.
Maybe if I kindly come again.
Okay. The Chief Justice Martha KURUA has reappointed the same bench that Deputy Chief Justice put in place to hear the case of impeachment for Rigathi Gachagua. What is the way forward?
Like I've said before, and we said before, and when we were here, we said that we should not hurry that, because now there is a ruling from the Court of Appeal now people are celebrating that you should wait until this thing is concluded. And the only route for Rigathi Gachagua to come back to be deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, it can only happen through constitutional process. It can't just happen because people are talking or maybe judges are making a reappointment or appointment. It must pass through constitutional process for him to be reinstated back as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. It cannot happen the way people are just trying to suggest, that let them reinstate him back because the Court of Appeal rules so, or let them give him back his securities. It is not going to happen that way. It just must happen within the process of the Constitution. Now, because the empanel of the judges were done by the DCJ, but now, because they have been that insist on the question of who should, the case of the absence of the CJ, but right now, because CJ is around, and because even if that mandate is granted to her to proceed with the appointment, she has just reappointed the same bench which was appointed by the DCJ. But you understand, the same bench had their determination and the decision of the cases. Now, even if you have been given a second chance, you cannot disapprove what you did. They're just going to confirm whatever they did, because how can you counter your decision and determination when given opportunity? So I think it's just a matter of time, but it has been overtaken by events. No matter what they're trying to do, the questions they're asking in the court, the fact remains that Rigathi Gachagua has been impeached, and the only route for him to come back to the executive as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya is through the constitutional process. Maybe if he can be nominated by the president and approved by IBC, or cleared by IBC and later approved by Parliament, he can become the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Or we go to another election and he comes back as Ruto's running mate. Those are the only two ways for him to come back as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. But the issue of appointment, reappointment, constituted bench or not, CJ, those questions are legal questions, are being dealt technicality at the court, but they are not going to make sure that he comes back as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya.
So because like now, right now as we speak, the person or the CJ that has been given the powers by the Constitution to appoint the bench has done so. And if the Rigathi Gachagua legal team feel that this bench, they still have that trust issue with them, can they appeal what has been done by the CJ right now?
Actually, you understand at the time they wanted the bench to recuse itself, and the bench refused, because we understand that the question right now before the court is the substantive constitutional questions, and it is being dealt with at the judiciary level, and it's very clear that the CJ can empanel that bench. And we also interpreted reasons why DCJ appointed that bench, because someone was missing in action. And we have also interpreted CJ and DCJ functions. Whenever someone is missing, we should come in and ensure that the constitutional timeline is dealt with within that framework. That one was well understood. So the question at stake right now is that, what if the legal team from maybe the defense team right now can argue that we don't have the confidence with the current bench, so they can recuse themselves. But remember, we are not dealing with the defense team alone. We are dealing with the petitioners. We're also dealing with the respondents in this case. So the court must hear from both parties. They cannot line with the one party, that we have to listen to the defense alone and give them their request. But also, we understand that the petitioners and the respondents will also argue their case. So it's up to them to come back with the ruling. But a matter of recusing themselves, it cannot be determined by the Rigathi Gachagua Council, that they are the authority to decide for the court what to do or what not to do. That one is vested with the court.
Okay, thank you so much. And there's also something that I want to engage you on before I bring in Makobura. And it's something that has also an issue that has been on the public domain concerning the public seal. And this public seal usually rests with Attorney General. But the other day, we saw the government spokesperson said that there was a bill that went through the parliament, and after going through the parliament, the seal was put into the office where Kosgei works. Then he retracted the statement. I don't know, in terms of legal, if such steps are being taken, does it require public participation? If not, why? And does it have to go through the parliament so that the public would know where it rests? Because this is something that has always been in the Attorney General's office for quite sometimes in the history of not quite some time, sorry about that, but it has always been in the office of Attorney General. And let me take this opportunity also to welcome Mkenya in the show.
To respond to your question, you have asked about the issue of the transfer of public seal from the office of the Attorney General to the Public Service Commission, who serves under the Executive as State House, that is Felix Kosgei. We had the rumors. I think last year there was rumors that the public seal was being transferred from the AG's office to the Public Service Commission office, that is Felix Kosgei. And the public seal, the way the name appears, is that it belongs to the public, and that's why it was being put in the office of the Attorney General, because the Attorney General, the mandates of Attorney General, other than the legal advisor to the government and also the amicus curiae into the court as a friend of the court, our courts, he also represents the interest of the public whenever there's a public question in the court. He appears to represent the interest of the public. So that's why we decided to allow that seal to be in his office, because the trust we have with the public trust is vested in the AG's office. But one individual cannot just wake up in the morning and transfer that seal from the public office to another big public office, but under the Public Service Commission. And Public Service Commission works under Mr. President in the State House. So I believe that in case of any public seal, maybe they want to transfer it from one office to the other, they ought to have consult the public, because the public trusts the AG's office. And the issue of separation of powers, checks and balances, we cannot consolidate power to Mr. President, that is the absolute ruler, and everything, including public seals, are vested with him. No, we must ensure that there are some institutions that must operate independently, and they must checks and balance even within the executive. That is what we call now interior separation of powers, checks and balances. Most of people are used to the exterior, but even within the executive, because you understand, Attorney General is part of the cabinet. Now, even within the cabinet, we must separate that power. That public seal must vest with the Attorney General, not the President, because the Public Service Commission works with the President. We don't want to give him too much power. That's what we did when people went to Bomas. The power was diffused. It was not only diffused exteriorly, but it was also diffused the interior part of it. It was diffused to the extent that we cannot allow the public seal to vest with Mr. President. And that's why they responded immediately that nothing like that had happened. But actually, there was a rumor that there was transfer public seal from the AG office to the PSC. I think it should pass through public participation, because it belongs to the public, not Mr. President, not Public Service Commission. Even the AG is just a custodian of the public.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. Mkenya Mkora, karibu sana BBM. You can also give us your take.
I'm not even gonna. Anyway, first of all, let me say hi, Brother Benson. Happy say hi to all of you and the viewers. I came here for a question, not even to contribute. And this question actually goes even to the lawyer friend of ours. When a magistrate or whatever is happening in a court of law, or even in the government, for those who call themselves, themselves that they're in the government, what is it that is followed? Is it the agreement of the magistrates? Is it the agreement of the government? Or is it the constitution? If the constitution has not been amended at any place, they should read the constitution and actually just advocate and use that constitution for any decisions they make. So we cannot keep on hearing that some magistrates went and something changed and they decided this and then now that's the rule of law. Neither can we get it from the people in the government. We as a sovereign country are bound by the constitution. If you take me to a court, tell me what part of the constitution that I have gone against. I can stand out there and shout, but then it's not in the constitution that you're not allowed to shout. So can I be jailed for that? Of course, no, per the constitution. But these people, the learned friends, as they call themselves, they can actually bring a case for you and say this is what it is. And that is why I'm saying, like this Gashagua's thing, the constitution about impeachment, once you're impeached, you're done. Unless we go back and say that you can appeal and keep on appealing. There's nothing said as appealing in the constitution with the impeachment. So I don't know what constitution we are following right now, and that is where I am confused because that line does not exist in the constitution. Maybe we might go back and look and say, maybe we need to add this one. But now, even these other cases that are being heard of Gashagua, they're unconstitutional. It's not there. And that's why I'm asking my people, do we have a constitution or do we not have? That was what brought me here. Because then we need to read the constitution to the letter. And that is what needs, it doesn't matter if you're a magistrate, it doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, it doesn't matter what you can do. You have to abide by the constitution and bring your case through the constitution and state your lines. Not just come in there, kangaroo market, saying, oh, no, this one, no, we've agreed. What? 3-judge bench rule, but then you give a rule that is actually not written in the constitution. I rest my case. Nitawasikiza huku kando.
Okay, thank you so much, Mkenya Mkora Miguda. You can handle that.
I've heard the question, so let me try to answer the question. First, our good friend, first let me welcome you, Mato, to the show. You have talked about the issue of judges, magistrates agreements, or governments agreements, or the rule of law. What do we use in the country? We use the constitution, and that's why that interpretation is left for the judiciary to deal with it, because when we move to court, it's up to them to interpret. What are they interpreting? They are interpreting actually the constitution and the laws. They're not interpreting the agreement of the government or the magistrate agreement. But there's where maybe people might not understand when it comes to decision, the way you have asked that. How first, before I go to the decision, you have asked that why is it that now the impeachment should be done and dusted, and some people are still appealing for the impeachment, what do we refer to the political process? I agree with you that it should be done and dusted as the political process. But you understand also the person who was being impeached is a human being who has some basic rights and freedoms. So by the time he's in court, actually he's trying to fight for his rights and his freedoms. Maybe the process, there must be, he can question the process because he's at liberty to also clarify some rights by the court for him. And also, you want to know whether he can vie in future or not. These things cannot be done and dusted at the impeachment process by the Senate. You need to go to court for further interpretation that can I buy in future or not, or maybe was the process clear, constitutional, or were some of my rights infringed and maybe I can be compensated. So in court, basically, they are not dealing with how to reinstate him back to the office, but they're just dealing with these rights and maybe some freedoms during the process. Right to be heard, maybe he was not given enough time to be heard, such things, maybe he was denied some time in court. So they're just dealing with the case on the technicality basis of it. But now you have also asked the issue of the decision by the judges or by the court. Actually, the court gives the constitution and they are the body that can only interpret the constitution. But also, when you are a magistrate or maybe that bench composed of different judges, we have judge C, judge B, judge A. All these judges can't think the same. All of them must have different views because the fact that the parties presented their case or submitted doesn't mean that the way they were submitted is the way they were received by the bench. The bench have different ways of understanding things because we understand we are human beings. We can't be the same. We are different. The way I understand something is not the way you understand something. So that's why we allow them to have individual ruling or decision so that we can hear from them. And that's now, sometimes you understand, people went to court, there's things like jurisprudence. So in terms of jurisprudence, we want to know the judge. Actually, judge now is making the law. We want to know judge B or judge C or judge A. What is your thoughts? What are your views? Because you can't have similar. We are different. You can't say that all of us. That's why even they said that they allowed the impeachment, they allowed the swearing on Kindiki. But if you listen to all of them, they have different views. Someone was talking about, I have allowed it to proceed because of public interest. Kenyans must have a deputy president. We can't have that office to be vacant because the constitution permits that the Kenyans should have the deputy president within a certain period of time. Therefore, we can't miss that position to be vacant. Therefore, Kindiki must be sworn in as soon as possible. Someone was also giving another argument that maybe that there was public participation. And we asked him, what was the public participation? So all of them have different views. That's why when you ask me about, do they make rulings on the constitution or what? No, they make ruling on the constitution, but they cannot have the similar views or similar outlines to the constitution. They must be different. That's why we say jurisprudence. And some people also, they make their ruling based on the historical events. Some people also apply the theoretical part of it. Some people also apply the law as it is, the way it is written in the constitution. Some people also apply the modern, or some people apply, they look at the mood of the country, the public interest, the way I've told you, maybe the effect of the Gen Z, the effect of the public, what do they want? So you read the mood of the country. So you make your decision independently, depending on what type of a judge you are. But you must rely with the constitution. Your thoughts must align with the constitution. So basically, people must understand that it is not just about impeachment. There are many things that are being undertaken in the court of law. Some people have gone there to seek for their rights, to seek for their freedom. Some people have also gone there for clarification and interpretation. Some people also want to know that how was it possible for Mr. President to nominate Kindiki and there was no IBC in place? Who cleared Kindiki? That's a different question. So someone is dealing with that question. Who cleared Kindiki so that it could be approved by Parliament? Who cleared Kindiki? That's another question. Someone's asking a question that there was CJ, but why did DCJ empanel the bench? So you must look at them independently, differently, without relying that all of them you want to mix them with the impeachment. You are going to lose the focus. So if you go for interpretation, you find that there are different things being dealt with at different level with different people. That's why when a judge make a decision, not that he has gotten information from government or by himself, but he must rely on the constitution, but different school of thoughts must be in play. That's why even during the Uhuru and Raila, when they were in the Supreme Court, some two justices, they decided to dissent. Ojwang and Ndung'u dissented to the majority, but they were having a different opinion. But also out of the seven, I think out of them, four of them were having the election process was not in accordance with the constitution. But if you read that their judgments, they have different thoughts, different school of thoughts. So you must be independent. What do you know as a judge? As a judge, how can you interpret this law when you are put into the bench? Not that you are a judge, your decision must be influenced by the government, or your decision must be influenced by your colleague. No, you as individual, how can you interpret for us this outcome? I think that is how it should be understood. Makubura, back to you.
Okay, maybe before you leave that topic, there's also a question here from Mato, who has just left. He's saying that, so will they apply the feelings of my family if I steal a chicken, or will they apply the constitution? Maybe your take on that?
Mato is asking this question.
Allow me to also read this. Allow me to also read this from Irene. Irene is saying the charges in Gashagua was a case of mob justice due to greed of boys like Ishungwa, Mutuse, or Soro. They will impeach you even if you are the one and you align yourself with the people's agenda, e.g. Gloria.
Well, let me respond to this one of Mato. You know, the legal is complex. It's not the way people are seeing it. If you steal a chicken, and first you must be there must be proof. There must be proof that actually certain person has stolen a chicken, and you must prove the standard of proof. The burden of proof is on the person alleging. You alleges must prove. So it's up to that person to prove that you stole a chicken. And if there is that overwhelming evidence that actually you stole that chicken, the people will apply the law. There is punishment for a suspect who has stole a chicken. They will apply that punishment to you. Maybe you can be convicted, maybe you can be fined. So it depends on the judge who's making the ruling. That one is the discretion of the judge. We don't want to interfere with the judge's decision. We want the judge to be independent in thinking, independent in applicability of the law. It must be independent. We don't want to influence the judge. He can decide to fine you, he can decide to maybe punish you, to convict you. So it will depend on the offense and the punishment, not the feelings. But I think they are applying. Not I think. I'm certain sure they apply the constitution, and particular things like criminal cases, they apply the penal code. The penal code is very clear about the offense and the punishment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Migura. Maybe one question that I'll then ask, I'll want your take, and then maybe we'll call it a day, is the issue of Rigathi. You know, he's seen like he's now abandoning his quest for presidential bid, and he has slowed down. He's saying that retract sasa. Maybe what is your take? Could it be that ameona akiendelea na hii mambo, the government can do something about his case and he might be blocked? Remember, his case is not yet finished and he fully relies on that. Whether he'll be allowed at the end of that case that is going on, or whether it will be bad. So what is your take? Why do you think he's taking this move of saying that see
Okay. Let me now come back to the politics. Let us now play politics. What Rigathi Gachagua is doing is what we call political strategy. Rigathi Gachagua is a politician. Rigathi Gachagua is a political animal. Rigathi Gachagua is having advisors. He's not that stupid, even if he's stupid, but the advisors are not stupid. Rigathi Gachagua has attacked more. You don't understand what happened at the Obina show. He pressed too much. He went overboard. And after you have done that, what do you do as a politician? You retreat. You go back and strategize. That's actually what he's doing. But now you must mention things like, I've dropped my quest, because by the time he was attacking, he was aware that I'm going to compete with William Ruto. Those were just something politics, my friend. So as a politician, after you have done so much damage to your opponent, you must retreat back. Then you strategize and also allow your opponent to respond, allow your opponent also to justify that's how, because you can't keep on attacking. You will be irrelevant. You must also allow the debate to go on the country. Then when the time is getting old, then you attack again with the new tactics. Okay, but Rigathi Gachagua has learned the heart of our politicians. That's how he must do. Not that he's afraid that he will be arrested, or he's afraid. He knows that he's likely to be arrested. He knows that he can go to jail. He knows that he can be killed. Politicians are always ready, because death to them is just like it's normal, because you understand they are in politics and many things can happen. It's just doing what any other politician can do. After you have attacked, you must also give your opponent time to respond to the allegations, and also try to justify, or you also give them room to attack you back, so that you can come back again and attack them. And at the end of the day, they are not discussing about his political party. You understand? Even so, you want to say the beauty of it. Now, Rigathi Gachagua has made a political party. He's a party leader now. Even he has made it. Now he's the leader of the DCP. He will launch DCP, and he's registering DCP members. So with him, he's making progress. But the people who are opponents are now happy that he's not going to vie. He has retreated, but he has made a progress. That's how politicians work. You can't do them once. You must have a strategy. Sometimes you attack, sometimes you retreat, sometimes you engage, you consult, you consolidate. And because you understand, these things are very technical. You don't know what your opponent is planning for you, so you must not expose all your ideas to them. And that is I can give Rigathi Gachagua credit that he has done a good thing. But after attacking too much, he has also ensured that he has retreated back. And now you will see Kasongo coming out again, attacking Rigathi Gachagua ruthlessly. Other than these people being political enemies, they are friends actually. They are talking behind the curtains. Maybe Rigathi Gachagua has called Kasongo, or they have called each other, and they have consulted that, hey, you attacked me too much, Baba, retreat. Okay, allow me now. You will now understand how I will respond to you. They do happens. We have interacted with these politicians. We have been close to them. They are friends actually. To such an extent they talk to each other. So that is just Makobura political strategy.
Okay, thank you. There was a question here from Douglas. Douglas wants to know what is happening in Homa Bay. It's a question that is very much interested in. So you'll be giving us that update, and then the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, met with waimbaji wengine kutoka Mount Kenya region, and you'll also give us the political significance of that, and his intention of that, whether you'll need the support of the so-called musicians. You can give us your take on that. And then the politics of Luo Nyanza. Has there been, what is currently going on? We are seeing the plant holiday which is going there. Most of the times we've seen leaders coming to have different political views, and some of them have been hardliners. We are currently seeing them quiet. What could be going on politically over there? Are they waiting for the president and they're all happy to wait, or what is going on? You can give us your take on those.
The issue of Homa Bay, Douglas like to ask it, but it's good. Let me respond to Douglas because I'm on the ground. I'm receiving reliable intels from Homa Bay, so I can report authoritatively that Homa Bay is going to be big. That's a fact. Homa Bay is going to be the best Madaraka Day Kenya has ever have in terms of attendance, and in terms of cultural, and also in terms of the military drills, because the military arrived like I think 4 days ago. They were in Homa Bay. Actually, right now Homa Bay town is like a military. It's like a barracks. The military are all over. They have done their trainings. They have flight the parachutes. They landed. There are some aircrafts around Kabunde airstrip, and people are doing, I think, orientation, the choir. But the part of it which is so much beauty is the part of the military. They have arrived actually. They are there to stay up to first, and also the people will come out in large numbers, and we have received information that this mobilization, each and every member of parliament from Migori County, Kisii County, Nyamira County, Homa Bay County, Kisumu County, Siaya County, they are mobilizing people to come out in large number. And people, the school buses are out, people are going to come out in large numbers. It's going to be big, Marco Bura, like I promised you. And even you are privy to the information I'm giving Douglas. People they are actually waiting for Madaraka Day. That's are on the ground, mobilizing. Things are being done on the last minute. The pier, the airstrip, the A1 road is being completed. The road from Mobay Town to State Lodge is being completed. The canopy were completed actually. They are in a rush hour, and all the instruments have arrived. Like I've told, the jets, the hammered vehicles. The only person who has not arrived in Mobay is Mr. President. But I think everything is in place for the people of Kenya. And you understand, previously in Nyanza, this is the second time. The other time it was in Kisumu at Kenyatta National Stadium, International Stadium, sorry. But right now, this is the first time it's going to go to South Nyanza. And South Nyanza is diverse. We have the Kisis, the Kurias, the Luyas, the Luos, and the Orias. So I think that is why people are participating. And Douglas Kibogong is going to be a nice one. Just wait and see. Actually, I'll be attending, for your information. I'll be attending the Madaraka Day as a citizen of the Republic of Kenya, as a patriot, because that is my duty, and I don't owe anyone explanation that whether I'm going to go or not. I will go as a Kenyan, and also to be where my fellow Kenyans are going to be. Marco Bura, that's the report I have for now, and there is no report of any violence. It's going to be peaceful. Just wait, and you will watch how it will unfold.
Yeah, the issue of deputy president meeting musicians from the Mount Kenya, you can give us that. And then Embakasi member of parliament Babu Owino was admitted to the bar today. He's now officially an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Immediately he got conferred to that, he went and visited quite a number of prisons, and paid for bail, paid for bail for some, is it bail or what, for so many convicts, and they were released. Around 200, more than 200 of convicts were released for who had gotten involved in petty offenses. And then you can give us your take on that, and how is that going to change his politics now that he's now fully an advocate of the Republic of Kenya? How is that going to add in his in his political future, and also going forward? We've seen him as a consistent fighter of the rights of the people of Kenya. So now that he's an advocate, you can give us more about that. And then the war between Tanzania and Kenya is still ongoing, and the youths of the Republic of Kenya bado wanatuma maneno mingi kwa social media, and there's so many things happening. There's also so many accusations of what Kenyan youths are doing in terms of social media to the Tanzanians. And also, you can also give us your take. The Ugandan activist was also released. We are understanding that she was also taken via road to to Uganda. What does that mean to the activism in East African community? Your take.
the issue of Babu Owino. Babu Owino, first let me congratulate Babu Owino for being admitted to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya after he had done a very good work. Actually, Babu Owino has done a good work for those people who have been close to him when it comes to the issue of criminal litigation, civil litigation, conveyancy, and even oral exams. He did excellent job. Babu did a very excellent, particularly on the criminal litigation. I think he was among the best when it comes to the criminal litigation. He can narrate to you orally, like more better than the lecturer. So let us congratulate him. And the fact that now he's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya is an added advantage to him as a leader, because a leader should be someone who is well exposed, well learned, who understands the legal system of the country and the diversity of the people. Leader should understand economics, understand that it's an actuary. They understand most of the actual science, economics. Leader should understand the social setup of the people, the economical setup of the people, the political setup of the people, and the cultural practice of the people. So we must congratulate him. He actually is my leader. He has been my leader from university. He is my leader currently, and he will be my leader even in the future. And we know, everybody know, even the ODM people know, that is one of the best brains or legislature we have of our time. It's the G's of our time. We had people like James Kariuki of that time, but currently people like Babu Owino are the best members of parliament for our time. So we will celebrate them. And he was even ranked as the best member of parliament. We had 290 plus members of parliament, but he was ranked as the best member. So it means he has done a good job. And we wish him all the best. Actually, we know that we know what we want him to be in future. We just support him as a young person. We just want to urge Babu, to not to lose focus. Let him focus on the issue of always siding with the people, always represent the popular will of the people, always advocate for the people's rights and freedom. And one day the people will reward him abundantly. And also, because you understand, you have asked me how he's going the next step of his political life because of what he did. Babu Owino is having a very complicated strategy for his opponent. And Babu Owino is someone who has understand and mastered the heart of the politics. And Babu Owino is someone not predictable, whatever he's going to do next. Who knows that he was going to bail the 200 convicts with petty offenses? Nobody knew. So those are things that actually touch the people directly, the ordinary people. So first, I want to admit that I like his strategy because it's dealing with the common man directly. It does not involve the agents or the people or the brokers to go to the people. He's the one who's going to the people directly. And we have even seen him issuing bursary by himself, not the constituency's manager. It is Babu who issued the bursary by himself. He also go and also supervise the construction of the roads, even the schools are being constructed. So he go there too. So by himself. So I think as young people, we should emulate him, and we should also focus on the good things he has done. Although we have our past and we have our differences as young people, and no one is clean, because even the God said that all of us have sinned and fall short in the eyes of God and man. So no one is righteous. And we let us focus on the good things he has done, because he has touched many lives. And even the things he did, which are personal, I don't want to delve into them. Those people are also sorted out. And he has touched the heart of the people, and also the fact that he's the lawmaker of the Embakasi East constituency. Babu Owino is not elected in Luo-Nyanza. He's elected in Embakasi East constituency, which is cosmopolitan. There are many tribes. There are Kikuyus there. There are Kisis. There are almost most of Kenyans are in Embakasi East constituency, and there are some that Embakasi is the farthest Islando, whereby they are the people, Walalahoi, most of them are in Embakasi East. So that's a good work for that young person. We wish him all the best. And we also want to encourage him to continue fighting for the people's interests and not to side with the status quo. And whenever you get an opportunity to serve in the government, let him always remember the people, not the bosses, not the government. The way he has been adamant in ODM. Babu Wine is the only lawmaker in ODM who has refused to take his NGCDF to certain quarters. He has taken the NGCDF to the people of Embakasi, so he cannot be intimidated whatever circumstances. That's the kind of leader we want. We don't want someone who can be compromised by a leader of a political party. No, you must stand your ground and always represent the popular will of the people, no matter what, even if they are threatening you that they are not going to give you the committees in parliament, they're not going to give you party positions officials, they're not going to give the ticket for Nairobi gubernatorial, but do not relent. Side with the people, no matter what it takes. Even we are going to lose your seat of Democracy East, but remain with the people. That is a good leader and a future leader of this country, Makobura. The issue of Tanzania and the issue of Kenya, I think we talked about it yesterday so much. I just want to say that we should ensure that we maintain our relationship with our neighbors. We should also we should tolerate each other, because if you are blocking Kenyans to your country, one day your country might have a crisis and Kenya might be your second home, and you like Kenyan people to welcome you. So treat your neighbors very well, because you don't know, things do happen. Right now, our brothers from Congo, they are all over in Nairobi because we have welcomed them because of the war crisis in Congo. If we could have closed our borders, we could have not done well to our brothers. So even if you are treating people badly, irrespective of what, but remember one day you might seek asylum to their country or you are citizens. So let us always tolerate each other and allow good relationship, more so with our neighbor, not only our neighbor, but also internationally, be it bilaterally or multilaterally. We should ensure that we have a good rapport with our neighbors, because you don't know when these things will come. This is we are around, and anything can happen to your neighbor. Always open the door for your neighbor to come in, because even the same time, one day they might seek refuge in the country. We will welcome them. So you should always treat your neighbor very decent, because we are part and parcel of these events as human beings. Makobura, back to you.
Okay, you've not given your view on the deputy president meeting musicians from the Mount Kenya region. Maybe you can give us your take on that, and then the release of Ugandan activist who was arrested by abducted by Boniface Mwangi. She was also released. Maybe you understand Uganda, and when we see activists coming from Uganda and also coming out to just fight for fellow East Africans, you can also give us your take on the role that activists do play in terms of fighting for or looking for justice for those people who are facing either political, most of them actually political persecutions. Migoda?
Kindiki trying to speak for the Mount Kenya people, or trying to execute this mandate or based on the people of Mount Kenya. Kindiki also, the fact that he's the deputy president of the people of Kenya, is coming from Mount Kenya, and there's that fear that he might lose his deputy president position in the forthcoming election, because Gashagua has taken the people away from William Ruto. So he must fight within, and he must also prove a point that actually I'm the people. Actually, and also the same, he want to convince Ruto that it is the people, and they want to convince the people that it is me who is there on your behalf, who can bring goodies for you. So that is his work, and that is, let him just concentrate on whatever he wants to do. But the fact remains that the people of Mount Kenya, they have felt betrayed. They are not going to accept that theory of Kindiki. I think the people of Mount Kenya, they are not going to align with the Kindiki thoughts. So let him just try as a man and also as a politician. And because he also wants to be nominated in the forthcoming alliances, and Ruto can decide not to nominate him. So he must prove a point. I think that's why he has decided to put himself in that profile as the Mount Kenya kingpin in the eyes of his boss. The activist who was deported back into Uganda by the Tanzanian authority, I think it has happened in Kenya, and that's what they have done to the Ugandan people. And Ugandan people also might deport that person back to Kenya, because Ugandan also right now, they are not joking with the activists. Actually, they are going back to the full military dictatorship. The too much rights to the civilians are going to be curtailed by the Ugandan authority. I think Tanzania and Uganda right now, they are in a collab to ensure that Muhoozi become the president of the Republic of Uganda and Suluhu Samia go for the president of Tanzania, retain the seat. Period. That's what they're focusing right now. So anybody or any foreign influence or any foreign individual is coming out, try to enlighten the people, they will not allow you to do so into their arrangements, because they have dealt with their citizens. And their citizens are quiet. They have suppressed. They have succeeded to make their citizens to be peaceful by force. Then you are coming outside trying to enlighten the citizens, or trying to make it look like they are dictators of our time. They're not going to laugh with you. They will deal with you the way they can. I think that's why they have to do those contrary activities to the activists.
Okay, thank you. Maybe to our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching us for the first time, we kindly request you to just like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us, and we'll really appreciate. Miguda, my last question to you is the planned launch by the DCP party. They're going to launch it at Kasarani. And what do we expect as a people? You know, this is a party that is led by Rigathi Gachagua, and you know, it wants to, you know, their aim is, of course, to make the party known to the people of Kenya, and also they want to ensure that, according to the party leader Rigathi Gachagua, they want to send the president home. They want to make William Ruto one-term president. You can give us your take on that planned launch, and also what is your take on, are we going to see a mass movement from these other political parties? For example, those who are currently in UDA and supporting him, are we going to see them crossing over officially? After that, you can give us your final remarks.
I'd like to be brief, Makobura, because I want to attend something. But let me just tell you that the DCP launch is going to be big, and we also urge the government to give them maximum security and allow them to launch their party and allow them to do their politics. Let them be tolerated, because we are a multi-party democracy. Let them have their day. And I expect many people to come out to join their brother. Most of the people from UDA who should walk out from UDA to DCP, but not these other political parties to come out. I think the DCPs are half of the UDA, so it's about half of the UDA are going to the DCP. And we wish our brother all the best. Let us have that day. Let us not have violence. Let us ensure that there is a maximum security for each and every citizen, and tolerate them, let them speak, let them know their party. That is what we enjoy as a democratic state. Lastly, I just want to also finish by saying we expect that Kenyans should also live with one another, and also let us always ensure that we ensure, even though we differ politically or ideologically, but we are Kenyans. Let us not destroy our country because of politics. Politics will come and go, but our country must remain. We had people, Kenyatta, Moi, Kibaki, all of them have gone, but Kenya is here. So let us ensure that Kenya is safe for each and everybody. Makubura, see you next time. To our viewers, thank you for coming to the show, and also let us meet tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. I also want to take this opportunity to really say a big thank you to everyone. And Another request, if you're watching us for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. This is with the Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. You can always join. We do share a link so that you can also be part of this team. You can always give us your view, your take, because more of what we are doing here is we are having a conversation that is geared towards the betterment of our country. We are not aligned to any political party. We are not aligned to any politician. What we do is to give our views based on, what we think. The conversation that we do have here is we try to point out all the negative things that we are seeing in this nation, all the negative things that we see politicians do make, and we try to correct them. And so it should be noted that what we mostly do is, of course, reminding the people of Kenya of where we've come from and where we are going, and also pointing out the bad things and how they should be done. Once again, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of Irene Roare at the comment section. Thank you so much, Irene, for finding time to be with us this evening. Job Murunga, thank you so much, Job, for also finding time to join us this evening. We really appreciate, and we hope that you'll be joining us. Our good friend Mato Makandets, thank you so much for also giving us your view and engaging us at the comment section. We really, really appreciate. Our good friend Douglas Kibogong, thank you so much. You've been with us for quite some time and you've actively engaged us. And that is a reminder to our viewers that if you are out there, you can also engage us via the comment section. You can ask questions. You can also join the link and join the studio and also give us your take. Allow me to also acknowledge Gypsy Corner. Gypsy Corner, thank you so much for also finding time to be with us this evening. We really appreciate, and we hope that you will always join us. Speak and Heal, thank you so much for also finding time to join us this evening. We are continuing the conversation, and the conversation, of course, is all geared towards the betterment of our country. We appreciate. Thank you so much. We hope that you'll be joining us for these conversations going forward. To our good friend Batseba Ndwari, thank you so much, Batseba, for also finding time to be with us and to also give us your view. We appreciate. We don't take it for granted. We hope that you will join us again. To our good friend Brenda Obedi as well, we really appreciate and we hope that you'll be joining us. Thank you so much for your consistency and always, coming to support us. We appreciate. Yeah, Gypsy Corner is saying Douglas is a good friend of mine, but of late he's been, I don't know whether, yesterday he told me that he wants me to support a specific political party, but I reminded him that I'm not aligned to any political party. I am an independent person, and I can say that I'm partyless. I'm partyless. I'm tribeless, and so many. So to Douglas is convincing me to join a political party. I'm not ready to join any political party at this particular time, because if I join a political party, I'll actually forget. I don't want to behave like the politicians. I don't want to behave like those who promise. I'm quite sure you know the kind of politicians we have. They come with an agenda, tell you from A to Z. Once you give them a chance and they get into the office, they literally forget about the agenda they had. They literally forget about the promises that they gave the people. So for that reason, I don't want to join that party that our good friend Douglas is telling me about. But one of these days, maybe I'll have to get into one, because I understand that election is a political process and you have to be part. You have to give your view. Yeah, so that's my take, Gypsy Corner. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate. Asante sana. We hope that we'll meet again tomorrow. To our viewers, if you are watching us for the first time, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll really, really appreciate. I can't let my friend down. Yes, it's not a matter of letting your friend down. It comes, sometimes you get to a point where you have to look, and you have to weigh the realities. You have to see what really matters, what really matters to the entire people of Kenya. So making a stand on political moves is not an easy thing. It is easy. It can be easy if you know where you're going, if you know where the country needs to go. And also, upon moving throughout the Republic of Kenya, you will get to understand the high level of poverty, high level of sufferings, so many insecurity in most parts of the Republic of Kenya. And just like what happened to our beloved priest in Kerio Valley, a priest who had just gone to celebrate a mass, was just leaving, and then he was killed by, I don't know whether they're bandits or what. So I wish we'd have leaders who are that passionate about working for the people of Kenya, because it's so unfortunate that as a people of Kenya, we are losing so many lives. It is not because we do not have leaders. We do elect leaders, trusting them. We elect them hoping that they're going to make our life easy. We elect them hoping that they're going to do away with the insecurity. We elect them hoping that they're going to, make laws which are going to, in one way or another, influence how we are being governed, and they're going to positively assist us. We elect people or leaders so that, they can mobilize and bring resources. They can mobilize and ensure that the problems that are being faced by the citizens are sorted. And it's so unfortunate that the incident which happened in Kerio Valley, it is not the first time. We've lost quite a number of people, and it is also so unfortunate that we are losing them almost on a daily basis. We are losing even men of God, and we have ministers, like the Minister of Interior is coming from that region. It is so unfortunate that, people of Kenya coming from the Kerio Valley or the Rift Valley side are going through such kind of life. It is so unfortunate, and we call upon the government to ensure that the security of the people really matters. It is so unfortunate that we have securities in Haiti. We have our policemen in Haiti fighting for the rights of others, of which there is no problem with that. But I think that it would be better, or it would be good, if the president and the leadership of the Republic of Kenya would measure on the insecurities which are happening in the Republic of Kenya. The people of Kenya are facing a high level of insecurity. The people of Kerio Valley has never known peace. The people of Baringa has never known peace. And we have a government, it is so unfortunate. Let them bring back the police in Haiti and let them be deployed in Kerio Valley, in the Rift Valley, or in those places where, you know, those citizens have never known peace. It is so unfortunate that we've got school-going kids in those particular places. Currently, they are not able to go to school. They are Kenyans. They have the same right to enjoy peace. They have the same right to enjoy basic education. But how do you, as a leader, ensure that they get that peace? You know, it is unfortunate because what I can see is that the government of Kenya do not care about the lives of those people who are living there, about the children. The level of insecurity in that area has ensured that even the kids are not able to go to school. And you know very well that in areas where children and boys and girls are not able to get the right education, they will always end up into, you know, getting into things which are not really right. And so it is a call to the government, it is a call to the leadership of the Republic of Kenya, it is a call to the Minister of Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen. He needs to stand up and work for the people of Kenya. He needs to come and, you know, stop the consistent killings of the people of Kenya in Kerio Valley, the insecurity in that area. I remember him posting something in 2022 while he was in the opposition, or he was supporting the deputy president then, William Samoei Ruto. And I remember there was some children, around 4 of them, who were killed. And he posted that it is so unfortunate that the government of Kenya do not care about the lives of my people. That is how he called them. And so now that he's in power, now that he's the minister in charge of interior and security, why is he not doing, you know, why is he not stopping the deaths? Why is he not stopping the cattle rustling? Why is he not stopping the insecurity in Kerio Valley? He comes from those areas. So it is upon the people of Kenya to wake up and also remind the leaders that we have to hold them accountable so that they can know that we are people. We gave them our votes, we elected them, and so we need them to work for us. If they're not going to work for us, then things like demonstration would still continue. I want to end it at that point. And, you know, maybe before I end it, Brother Ben, what is your take on, you know, the insecurity that we are seeing in Kerio Valley? You know, yesterday we saw a priest was killed. The other day before that, there were so many people who were killed. And this is something that is continuing, you know.
Makobura, it's so sad, especially if history of Kerio Valley. And I was just watching you mentioning or quoting earlier in the previous administration how the CS for Interior really made a comment, and now he's in charge of that docket, and it's still happening. And I think it is high time that the government and even the relevant authorities, because sometimes it cannot only leave, we cannot leave it for government alone. It should be like a community. We join hands together. Maybe the people who are around there can feed the information to especially the police or the relevant authorities, so that such like issues, especially like I'm concerned about the priest, you know, can be avoided. And the government also should invest more on security, because losing a life is not something that is, nobody would want their loved ones or any other Kenyans to lose life. So I think the CS for Interior should put more effort, especially on matters to do with security at Kerio Valley, being that he understands the geographical of that area, and also he has a history of that area, because based on what he tweeted during the administration of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, he seems to be understanding the area well. So he's now at the the security docket. So he should do something, and make sure that all Kenyans are secured, not only the people on those particular area, but the security are guaranteed to all Kenyans. That is what I can say.
Brother Ben, there has been this narrative, where the people of Kenya say that, for example, if the minister is coming from, let's say, our county or another county, they will say that, this is our person. And, when there's any problem in that docket, the republic or the citizens will come out to try defend that particular leader. And so my question to you is, being that this is Kerio Valley and this is where CS Murkomen comes from, and the president also comes from this area, there has been this narrative that this is our government, this is our tribe, and there, again, we also have to accept one thing, this fact that, Kenyan politics is more of tribal. And when we see people coming, elected leaders or appointed leaders being given position, the citizens are always happy to welcome them and to say that, for example, you saw what was happening in Luo Nyanza, specifically in Homa Bay, when John Badi was appointed as the finance minister. People there were so happy, and they were saying that, for the first time, we've gotten a cabinet secretary in charge of finance, and that means that issues, the problems that we are facing are going to be minimized, that we'll be getting money, money will be sleeping in Homa Bay, that kind of thinking. And, why are we not seeing the leaders from Rift Valley, for example, coming out to categorically try to sort this problem?
It is quite unfortunate on how sometimes even as the Kenyans ourselves, we do reason, and especially when it comes to appointments, because I believe appointments cannot solve the issues if the person that has been given the mandate is not competent or competent enough, or do not have enough support, especially to encounters the emerging events or the emerging issues. Being a son of that particular region, that one does not qualify you to be somebody who can solve that issue. And maybe that's where sometimes we go wrong, because we find that our appointments are made on political loyalty. It is not about the people that you are going to serve. First of all, you have to look at your interest as you are making appointment. What if I do appoint you, what do I get in return in the first place in terms of politics? But that's now we should not look at it. And even talking about that security, I don't think, like, until today, if you remember what happened in recently in Narok, where police had counter with that community, is called what, Baragoi something, I don't think whether those people, they've been buried. I don't think, like, I'm not getting the cases, I'm not getting no information about what is taking place, and we're trying to find out. So I think it is also a responsibility of the citizen to know that if somebody is coming in your particular area, that one does not mean that the issues that you are going through are going to be solved. Know that government has what we call the systems that are put in place, especially when it comes to solving issues. Yeah, there are laws, especially you've given a perfect example whereby people are saying that.
But then I totally agree with you. But remember, during the campaigns, the narrative that is being played by the political class is that, if you can remember, if, for example, they are looking for presidency, they will tell you that, you see the problem that we are facing here in Kerio Valley, the issue of insecurity. If you give us, the mandate, if you give us this position of government, we will be able to appoint one of you understands this area, one of you understands the conflict and everything about it, and this person is going to sort that. We've seen politicians come, do such kind of campaigns. And again, if you can remember the last 2022, we saw the Azimio, they had even a list of cabinet secretaries, according to them, that would then take the position, and they were given based on the problems. For example, the cost, the issue of land and everything. That's the reason why Joe was appointed with Azimio as the lands minister. And, why is it that when they're looking for these positions, they come out and, call the people, they tell them why, we need it. But then once they get it, they tend to forget about it.
And I think the reason being that our politics is not issue-based politics, is a personification politics, and they play that knowing that you're coming from that area with your popularity. So they know if we say that we are going to give you or offer you that position, you will be voting. It is an intelligence way of forcing you to vote in a particular way. Yeah, but it's not a issue-based so that's the issue based, or is appointment that is going to solve the issues. Because if you tell me that some names have been offered position because they're coming from those areas, and they're going to solve those issues, and you find that maybe those names, some of them are also involved in kind of like some dealings about that area, how are they going to solve that issues? So our politics is all about personification. It's not about issues based. That is what runs us. And I think also the public, and I agree with what Gibson Connor is saying, that one problem is the public that we have. We've normalized, because you cannot convince me that the entire Kenyan community, we do not have people who can handle the issues to do with land. First of all, we know our land injustices in Kenya. We know we have the history. Yeah, and if you're trying to tell somebody this is what we are going to do to solve that issues, some of them back dates, they don't even follow the law. So it is politics as usual. It is out the nature of our politics, my brother. And I think it is high time also, again, high time that the public came to their senses and know what they want. Know what is it that I want. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. Just allow me to read some few comments here. Speak and Hill says that Kenya has no leadership but crooks. Yeah, majority of the leaders that we have do not care. That's a fact. And Gypsy Connor is saying that our politicians should mind their language and stop using the public for votes. Please stop taking the bribes from the politicians. Yeah, I understand you, Gypsy Connor. The issue of bribe is it's I don't think it's not easy for the people of Kenya to stop taking it from the political class, because remember there's high level of poverty in Kenya, and most of time, because the high level of poverty is living amongst the people of Kenya, and the political class has mastered, and they know very well that these people are poor. If I give them 50 bob, if I give them 100 bob, they're not going to refuse. And human beings, we human beings, I think human beings are made in a way that they will tend to believe that once you give them something today, they live in hope that you're going to give them again tomorrow. And that is why you find that a politician comes, gives you 50 bob or 100 bob, you use it today, and once you go and get to the ballot, in your mind you think that this is the person who is going to help me. Maybe he's going to come again if I give him my votes, and he'll give you another 100 shillings. And so it is not easy for them to stop taking the bribes, because the situation on the ground is
Marco,
very clear. Yes.
I think what has really happened is this. Yeah, talking about the poverty. Sometimes you can create environment to enable the businesses to thrive. Yeah, or you can support those talents or any good ideas that come, and or even pass the legislation that really make it easy for people to thrive. Leaders, sometimes they've not delivered. Yeah, and they know you will ask them those questions. So because they know that the money is the only highway in which convincing you is quite much easier because they know yesterday you did not have food, or for the longest time you've been struggling. Yeah. And that's give you a typical example even of what the deputy president is doing now, because is walking around seeing the young people to, you know, and donating some money to them that supporting the business. But why can't you put it in a way so that instead of giving them, you make it also provide a good environment whereby that money that you've
so that when you're not there, they can, you know, they can continue, they can do it even, you know. Yeah, I get your take.
So you don't make it like
a one-time thing.
Yeah. So in like somebody say that usipatiane mtu samaki lakini mfundishe jinsi ya kupata samaki. Unaona?
Yeah.
Kwa sababu ukimpatia samaki ataikula, ataila, ataimaliza tena bado utakuja kumpatia, lakini ukimpatia njia ama ukampatia hekima ya, like ukimpatia maarifa ya kupata hiyo samaki, njia ya kupata samaki,
nenda anajichukulia yeye mwenyewe.
Sasa hata kuja kwako hata kukuuliza leo ni pesa ngapi bana, leo ni pesa ngapi, so hiyo ndio. Lakini unapata kwamba maviongozi ama nasema kwamba labda mfumo ya siasa ambao sisi tunatumia, naweza sema ni mfumo wa siasa ya ukoloni wa kiakili, yani akili zetu bado zimebanwa katika sehemu fulani ambapo tunaamini kwamba yule mtu ambaye atakuja kututatua tabu hizi zetu ni huyu, na atazitatua tu kwa pesa, si atakatupatia sisi maarifa, ni pesa tu. Tatizo zetu tu ni pesa, na ambapo si ya ukweli. Pesa haiwezi tatua jambo lolote. Pesa inawezesha, labda ukiwa na nia mzuri unaweka pesa kwa hiyo nia, alafu inawezesha, alafu matokeo ama mavuno kitatokea. Lakini huwezi weka kwamba kitu ambacho kitatatua shida zetu zote ni pesa. Hapana. Nadhani kama tunaishi katika nchi kama hiyo, ama tunaishi katika mazingira kama hayo, itakuwa ni vigumu sana hata sisi wenyewe kujiendelea kimaisha, kifikra, hata kimaendeleo zaidi.
Okay, asante sana. Speak and Hill is saying primitive rule principle. You deny people three things: education, money or wealth, exposure. Kenya finished. I totally agree with Speak and Hill, because, you know, in a country where education, you know, when you give education to your citizens, they will use that knowledge to, you know, come up with ways of making money. And there's a possibility, of course, that once they get money, they will get exposed and they will get to learn so many things. But in a country where education is not, you know, respected or provided to the citizens, you cannot expect anything. But what you'll find, the product you'll find, is that a citizen that is focused on things which are not, you know, beneficial to the society, hapo sasa ndo utapata watu wengine wanageuka wanakuwa wezi wa ng'ombe, and you'll find the issues of insecurity, because, you know, in a situation where the society is not educated, these people would want to eat, they would want to, you know, survive. And for them to survive, they will, you know, venture into those things which are not really right. So I totally agree with you, Speak and Hill. So the government needs to do more in terms of education in Kerio Valley. They need to expand the infrastructure. They need to ensure that, you know, the people of that area get the right education, and with that right education, they will get exposed. They will get to understand that fighting and castle wrestling is not the way to live. It is not how life is. You know, I think because they lack what we call exposure, they think that, you know, exposure and education, that, you know, people survive by cattle wrestling or fighting. You know, I totally agree with you, good friend Speak and Hill.
Yeah,
yes.
Mako Bora, hata kabla hujafunga pia, unajua sana sana ukipata nafasi, ama hata wasikilizaji wetu wakipata nafasi waende hata YouTube kwa mtandao, waende waone mazungumzo ama hotuba za aliyekuwa rais na bado ni hayati Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere. Ukiangalia sana kwa undani mazungumzo yake, ilikuwa inaongelea juu ya vijana, na unapata kwamba alikuwa anasema kwamba maendeleo ni vijana, kwa sababu unaweza pata kwamba kijiji ama tuseme kama nchi ambayo inaua mavijana wake, inamaanisha kwamba hii nchi haitakuwa na maisha kwa siku ambazo zijazo, kwa sababu vijana ndio nguzo ya jamii, unaona, au ndio nguzo, au ndio kusema, unaona. Lakini ukipata kwamba umewaua, labda kuua si kwamba wamepoteza maisha, lakini kuwapatia zile baadhi ya vitu ambao ndugu yetu alikuwa anasema, elimu, afya, unaona, inapata kwamba jamii haitakuwa na msingi. Ya, ndio maana huwa unasema kwamba unawekeza kwa vijana. Ukiwekeza kwa vijana inamaanisha kuwa sasa nchi itanawiri, kwa sababu jambo la kwanza ni kwamba vijana ni watu ambao bado ni watu barubaru, watu wako na nguvu. Ya, ukiwapatia kazi watafanya kwa vizuri na uwapatie malipo vizuri. Lakini kama unapata kwamba vijana kazi ambao wanapatiwa tu, labda watu wakienda siku za siasa ni ile kupatiana pesa, unapata kwamba mavijana wanapigana hao kwa hao, ama vijana wakikutana na adui wamekurushia mawe. Lakini ikifika wakati ambao unataka kuwatengenezea, uwezi watengenezea mazingira ambayo inaweza wawezesha hao kupata kazi, ndio wasikue ama wasipate nafasi kufanya vitu kama ghasia wakati wa siasa. Unajua hivyo. So hizo ndio vitu ambazo labda viongozi wanafaa waangalie, si tu viongozi wa serikali, lakini wote, hata wale wako katika upinzani, kwa sababu vijana wote ni vijana wa Kenya. Huwezi sema kwamba hawa ni mavijana wa upinzani, hawa ni mavijana wa serikali. Hapana, wote ni vijana wa Kenya. So ni ile inafaa maviongozi wakae chini, hata kama wako na tofauti kisiasa, lakini ikikuja jambo ambao inahusisha sana maisha na elimu ya vijana, lazima wakae pamoja, kwa sababu wajua wanatengeneza msingi bora kwa nchi. Hiyo ndio kauli yangu.
I agree with you. Yeah, so Gypsy Corner is saying the public is the problem. We allow and normalize the politician's character. We mold it more comedy. Okay. Speak and Heal is saying, why is Mr. Tumetenga not tendering funds for the schools in Rift Valley or deploying military to the valley? He's a master of subjugators in chief. He wants to be adored and begged. Moi did the same. Okay. Kenyan public has for a long time been hypotonized politically. Okay, Gypsy Corner is saying Kenyans have to reset their mind, otherwise we will elect the wrong people for the next 200 years.
Yeah, Makobura, hiyo ni kweli kabisa, kwa sababu unajua kitu lazima Wakenya wafahamu. Kwanza inafaa wafahamu mfumo ya uchaguzi ambao labda ambao wanatumia kuchaguana. Na kama mlipata bahati kuona mahojiano ya Hamisi, mbunge alisema jambo fulani kwamba wote ambao wako katika mstari wa mbele wa siasa ambao tunaita mavigogo, hawa watu walianza kufanya na Moi kitambo sana. Lakini pahali inakuja tunatofautiana ni labda saa zile tunakuja na vyama tunabadilisha rangi, tunabadilisha msemo, lakini wale ni wale wale. Yeah. Ni wale ambao vitu ambazo walikuwa wanasema miaka iliyopita, wakati walikuwa wameanza kusema siasa kwamba sisi tutabadilisha haya, sasa ile ya kuambia wananchi kila wakati wanaitana, lakini unapata wakikuja kufanya kazi pamoja huwa wakwagi na shida. Mimi swali zangu ni je, nataka kukuuliza, baada ya uchaguzi, mara mingi baada ya uchaguzi unaona kwamba watu wanaenda kotini, ama Wakenya watu wanaenda kotini kwa wanasema mimi uchaguzi haikufanya kwa njia ambayo inaofaa. Lakini wakati ambao labda wanataka kukuja pamoja, wanataka kuleta Kenya pamoja, umeona wameenda kotini wakasema kwamba leo hii sisi kama Wakenya tumeamua tunataka kuunganisha Kenya, tukae pamoja. Umeona kuna siku jambo limefanyika hivyo, ama tuseme kwamba Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga na Mheshimiwa Ruto, kwa sababu walienda kotini kupinga ile uchaguzi wake, lakini kwa sababu saa hizi tumepata kwamba tunataka kuleta Kenya pamoja, tunataka kuwa na salamu za heri, tuende kwa koti zetu, ambapo hapo pali iliamua ushindi wako, pia hapo tuongee, tuandikishane. Umeona wakienda kotini na inakuwa ni labda kitu ambacho inafanyika kwa ofisi, alafu unakuja unasema Wakenya sasa tuko pamoja. Unakumbuka ile ya salamu za heri ya Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga na Uhuru Kenyatta, ilipata watu hawakukuwa najua kwamba wanastukia tu pale mbele ya Harambee House, hizi ndio vitu ambazo tutafanya. Ya Ruto pia ndio sasa ikakuja, lakini ni hapa ni watu ambao wakati wa siasa ni wasimu wa jadi. Unaweza dhani kwamba hawa waonani macho kwa macho, maneno ambao wanasemezana, maneno ambao wanaambiana, unaona kama mpaka sisi wa Kenya ambao wanapiga kura pia wanaingia kwa maneno hayo hayo, kisha baadaye mnaambiwa okay, sasa inabidi tukae pamoja. Ndio maana nakueleza, lazima Wakenya wenyewe wajue ni viongozi gani hao wenyewe watachagua. Lakini wakiendelea na mfumo ambao sisi tuko nayo, ama mfumo ambao wanafuata saizi, bado nakwambia bado tuko mbali sana. Hatuwezi pata ile Kenya ambao labda mtu kama Tom Mboya alikuwa ana ndoto naye, mtu kama Bildad Kagai, mtu kama unajua wale mavigogo wetu, hata ile ndoto ambao Wangare Maathai ilikuwa nayo, kwa sababu ni mtu ambaye alikuwa anapigania sana mambo ya mazingira na amepitia mengi. Ako na history, ukisoma mambo ya Green Belt unaona ya Wangare Maathai ni amepigania na amepitia mengi sana, na ndoto kama hizo hatuwezi zifikisha kama mfumo ambao tunatumia ni ile ile. Asante.
Okay. Brother Ben, I'll just get back to you. I would really want to hear your take on what the president did. Our president is such a generous person, and you know what is happening in Kenya in terms of insecurity. There is high level of insecurity in so many parts of the Republic of Kenya, and part of that, what we are facing with that insecurity is consistent death of innocent people, death of children, death of men of God, death of civilians. And one thing that we also have to accept, the reason why we do see these groups of militia coming up, they always start by a small group, starting, for example, rustling, and then they grow to a bigger group, and then they become like a militia group. And that is how, if you study and you get to understand how this militia group started, they started as a sect and then they grew up. And part of the reason that has led to this formation of this kind of militia groups is when a area is not getting, when people are not educated in that area, when people are not exposed in terms of they get to interact with people from other regions, they get to see the kind of developments which are going on in other regions. When they lack all those kind of things, their mind are just set in one area, and they tend to believe that for them to survive, they need to fight, they need to, take properties of others. And, whenever that culture has gotten in, we will always see people behaving wrongly. Why do you think it's not easy? It was not easy for the president to just make a decision of finishing the Kerio Valley and the Baringo bandits, or to finish that culture of killing and culture of just doing things which are not necessary in the Republic of Kenya?
Okay.
Why would we take a good number of police officers to a country far away from the Republic of Kenya, and yet we are having insecurity in Rift Valley, we are having insecurity in Northeastern, we are having insecurity in Garissa, and we've seen our KDF members being killed each and every now and then by explosives in around Beketoni area, in Northeastern, in Garissa. What was it that the president was looking into while giving this? And remember, it was done. The Constitution of the Republic of Kenya is very clear. At some point, it was found that it was even illegal taking the police officers over there. Why is it that our men are dying in some other country far away from us, and we have no direct interest in it as a people of Kenya? And yet, insecurity in our own country is a problem that we cannot handle.
Unajua Marco Bura, mi jambo ambalo nataka kukuambia, unajua kuna nilikuambia mfumo na wakati ambapo nchi yetu iko. Mimi sidhani kama changamoto ambapo hizi tunaona za serikali ya President William Ruto, hapana. Ni jambo ambalo liko na historia kubwa sana, na labda unaweza pata kwamba pia kuna baadhi, sina hakika, lakini unaweza pata kwamba kuna baadhi ya even kwa wale ambao labda wako katika uongozini, wale ambao wako katika uongozini pia wamo ndani, yeah? Kuna mara mingi ambapo tuwezi sema, kuna watu ambao sana sana ukienda huko pande za Baringo, kuna watu wengi ambao kila mara ukisikia wanasiasa wanaongea, labda kuna fununu, unaweza sikia jina la mtu kinatajwa, yeah? Labda ni mtu ambaye anatajwa ni mtu wa mashuhuri sana kwa zile fununu. So unapata kwamba hata kama unajaribu kufanya hivyo, unaweza pata kwamba kuna, we call it, there's so many interest that plays part such that should I call it the cartelism? Like when you come even to these militias or all these illegal firearms that are being held by these groups, it's not only in Kenya. These groups are in every country, even in those countries whereby you feel they should not be there, but they're there in another form. So it depends with the environment on how they handle it. And when you go to countries such as go even to Uganda, you will have them. Go to Congo, what you're seeing in Congo, you will have them. So some of these groups or some of these militia, and you wonder how do they get even those weapons? So which means there must be somebody who is behind him. So it is something that it needs to be done, but it needs collective responsibility. Yeah, the collective responsibility of leaders who are coming from those areas, because even though you might be having, especially our Kenyan police or our security agencies, they are there. They need cooperation from the locals. Yeah, they need to get those information. So if they get information, that's how they can deal with it. Because if you have a data, because what usually make informed decisions, the informed decisions are usually made on data. Yeah, on information that you get. If they can get information early enough, especially for the security agencies, that this is what is going to happen, then they can know on how they can deal with the challenge. But if they don't have security, they don't have those information, and maybe they're just going there, what happens, we've seen it has happened in almost all the administration, and is a challenge even to President William Ruto right now as we speak, even though he has taken the police to Haiti, which so many people comments that so many people comment that it was a very wrong idea. But you look at it in a very different perspective. We had Uhuru Kenyatta, who did not take the police to Haiti, yet it was still happening. We had Kibaki, yet it was still happening. So you ask yourself, where is the problem? Yeah, is the problem that we do not have very, very, very good information about the security and the boundaries of our country, or is it a challenge that maybe somebody is sabotaging it in a way that the Kenyan security agency cannot act on it, or they have very powerful weaponry that our security agencies have cannot match it? So there's so many questions and answers that we will keep on asking, especially on the security matters when it comes to our borders, and even to the place where the priest was killed. It is historical. We mentioned earlier about Kipchumba Murkomen, the CS for internal security. Then when he talked about it, now he has the power, and it's still happening. So you ask yourself, where is the problem?
Ben, I agree with your take, but we are in Kenya. We normally go for elections and we elect a president. And I remember when the president is being sworn in, there's there are a list of things that he has to swear and to say that I believe in this, and I have to, follow this. This the Constitution, and also it is done before the people and before God. My question would be, and again, from where I sit, every life of any Kenyan matters. Whether you're a politician, whether you're a normal citizen, when you are killed with things to do with when you've been killed, that is a state, that's a state matter, and it has to be investigated. You are a Kenyan, and when you elected a president, he promised to take care of your life as a Kenyan and ensure that anything that is threatening your life, they stop or they deal with it accordingly. The issue of insecurity, for example, in the Republic of Kenya is a serious thing. Why is it that if a politician, why is it that a leader, when a leader or politician is killed, they get and do everything they can to ensure that they bring the people who have killed or the suspects to book? Why is it that people of Kenya are being killed? Not one, but so many of them. But the kind of emphasis that is given to them is very little compared to what they give to the politicians or to the leaders, because these are both lives. If you are a Kenyan civilian, at some point you can also vie for position and then you become, a leader. Why is it that before you become a leader, no one cares when you die or not? But the moment you become a leader, now you are highly being protected to that extent. So that does it mean that wananchi now hawana kibali, like, wow, they don't matter, or what is going on?
No, Makobura, one thing that I want to tell you, especially when it comes to cases whereby you find that when it happens to a politician, it seems that something serious has happened. It is the way we've normalized and idealized the leadership, whereby the leaders, we put them as to say that they're kind of like semi-gods, or semi-deity. When you read that African literature, there's something that we call the semi-deity. They're like, they see themselves as semi-gods, whereby they feel they hold the highest office and they might not be questionable. Anything that happens to them might be taken seriously because they are leaders. But that is what that is what the environment that has been created in the political field, especially when it comes to leadership, because people tended to believe that leaders are the people who should make correct judgment and correct decisions that affects the people. So with the respect that the people have for them, so they feel that they should be protected because they're that. But now that is not what is translated, especially in majority of our scenarios, when you talk about our scenarios, whereby for a politician is taken so much seriously, but for a normal Kenyan is a normal. So those are kind of the things that now, especially as people are going to election, those are kind of the questions now that should be on the ballot box. Yeah, what are you going to vote? Are you just going to vote a leader just because he's a leader? Or how are you going to vote a leader because he has a lot of money? Are you going to vote a leader because he comes from my area? Are you going to vote a leader because he has done this? Because majority of the time, if you look at some of the leaders were elected just because of maybe they said something that was welcomed by the people from their constituency. Remember, there was a guy in Siaya who was called Aduka Duke, remember? Yeah? And when he vied, he got a lot of votes, yeah, just because of what he did. Yeah. So, and by there, I think he ended up doing well. But so it is those questions, that hard questions, that we need to ask ourselves as voters to the leaders. Even sometimes call those leaders and waite waulize hayo maswali, utapata kwamba hawatakuwa na nafasi ya kujibu maswali kama hayo. So jambo la kwanza ni bado na kupeleka tu pale kwa wananchi hao wenyewe. Wananchi wajipige msasa, wakae chini, wazungumuze hao kivyao. Sema, have a self conversation with yourself. I know you are somebody who reads the Bible, and I can refer you to a story of a prodigal son. There's this son who went to the father and he told the father to give me part of his wealth. Then the Bible tells you he went away and started to live a lavish life and used all the money that he was given. After some times, he started to feed with the pigs. Then he had a conversation between him and himself and said that I'm going back to my father. It's a decision that he made by himself. So I think that is, I feel that Kenyans should go that way. Yeah. There's a wealth that you've been given as a country. They need to have a conversation. They have a wealth. They need to have a conversation and say that, okay, we are going back to the father, or we want to go back to the country. How do I go back? And how do you go back? You go back by voting and listing all those that you want to, all that you want, the kind of leader you want, and all that. Then vote for that particular leader. Then you will bring sanity to the leadership that you want. But if we go with the current system that we have, especially where everything happens, like people criticize the president this day, today president is the good president, people do this. No, we are not going to actualize the dream of Kenya that our forefathers or the people who fought for independence had in their minds.
Okay. Thank you so much to our viewers. This is
I need
Brother
to leave, Mr. Makobura. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you so much. To our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching us for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel, and we will really appreciate. Allow me to take this opportunity to acknowledge and to say a big thank you to FR Danny Perspective. I don't know whether it's father. I don't know whether you are a father or a priest. You can clarify to me maybe at the comment section. But I really appreciate the fact that you've been with us and you've engaged us at the comment section. To our viewers, once again, kindly, if you're new to this channel, just like and subscribe. If you subscribe, it is a way of supporting us, and we will really, really appreciate. Oh, nice. That's so nice. That is so nice. I'm also a Catholic, so kindly pray for me. I'm facing so many problems, and part of the problem is the problems that we are facing as a people of Kenya. Kenya is going through a lot, and we need the intervention of God in these matters that we are all going through. Yeah, so I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to everyone again who has joined us, everyone who has been with us. We really appreciate, and we hope that you will always join us when you get time. Let me acknowledge the presence of Gypsy Corner in the comment section. Thank you, Gypsy Corner, for also giving us your take and engaging us at the comment section. We really, really appreciate. That's so nice. Gypsy Corner is saying, nice to have a priest in the house. Welcome to Brother Benson. Thank you so much. We also take this opportunity to welcome our good friend, priest, or father. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and for your for being with us and being part of this. Maybe there's a conversation that we needed. We had wanted to have about religion and spirituality. I don't know if we can have it. We can invite you, Father Danny, so that you just give us a perspective on religion and spirituality. Kindly confirm if maybe you can. We can also give you a chance and just educate us in matters of spirituality. Yeah, so to our viewers, it is a conversation which is going on. We started this conversation almost 3 hours ago, and it is a continuation. And part of what we are having here, part of the discussion we are having here is we're just trying to give our views as a people of Kenya, and not just the people of Kenya, all of us who are, who really care about the humanity and the well-being of our brothers and sisters. We need to come together and ensure that when your brother, your sister, whether in, when your brother or sister are facing or going through a good life, then we all be happy. But when a situation where some of us are suffering, some of us are in serious poverty, some of us are facing serious insecurity, some of us are, facing political persecution, some of us are facing, are being discriminated in one way or another. We need to stand up. And, when we stand up, we need to call out those people who are making them suffer. And from my understanding as a human being is that the call that we have as a humankind is to ensure that we leave the world better than the way we found it. Living it better than the way we found it means that speaking out when it is necessary, pointing out all those negative things which are being done, and reminding the leaders that they have a responsibility of taking care of the citizens. They have a responsibility of, ensuring that the people of Kenya are all respected and they find, the necessary things that they need in their daily lives. Yeah, so that is my take. I would want to end it at this point. And now, to our viewers, I really appreciate. Once again, to remind you, if you're new, just like and subscribe, and we'll really appreciate. Asante sana Gypsy Corner, asante sana Father Dani, and everyone. I'd asked Father Dani if we can invite him for a discussion on matters of religion and spirituality. Kindly confirm if we can have that conversation at the comment section, maybe before we end. If we can, matters of religion and spirituality. Okay. Yes, we can. Okay. So I don't know how I'll reach you out. You can reach us via the number on the screen, the one that is running on the screen. It's Brother Ben's number, and we can talk, and maybe one of these days we can decide on which day we can have it. But maybe again, to also remind our viewers, there's a project that we are intending to have in the coming months, whereby we decided to buy some rim papers to some local schools in the village. The reason why we decided to buy or to come up with that project is because in that school we realized that students or pupils were sent home for rim papers, and some of them would go for good. Some of them would literally just leave school. And so we thought it wise that instead of letting the children, when they're sent home, they don't come back to school, we decided to come up with this project whereby we want to buy some rim papers and to take to this local school in the village. It would really assist them, so that, our main intention as human, we don't want to see our fellow humans, brothers and sisters, suffering, and especially in their quest for getting the right education. So you can also support us, the number on the screen running over there. you can always reach out to us, and we will appreciate. Purity Sally, I'm quite sure this is Judith Karitha. Judith Karitha, haupatikani. Haupatikani. We hope you are good and you're doing well. Yeah, so you can reach out, Judith haupatikani. Yes, so to our viewers, we really appreciate. I would want to end it at this point. Maybe if you have any question, you can give maybe your last questions. Any last question before we finish? And to also remind you that we are following up on what is going to happen in date 1st of June. That would be Madaraka Day. It would be happening in Homa Bay County, and Migude is on the ground. Yes, we'll be on tomorrow. We'll be on tomorrow. Okay, yeah. So there's a question here. Why are Kenyan universities being run down? Yeah, most of the universities in the Republic of Kenya currently facing financial inabilities, and some of them are, they have so many debts which are amounting. Like I saw one of the university almost has a debt of almost 6 billion and more. There's one that had 9 billion. And I think the question that the people of Kenya are asking is, why is it that these universities are having this lot of debt and you cannot actually go to school without paying? You cannot even do exams, semester exams, without paying for the school fee. So from my understanding, I think this is just a pure, I would call it a pure mismanagement by the administration, because there is no justification with the high amount of money that the people of Kenya are paying in terms of school fee. There is nothing that we can say. And maybe to give an example, an example of that, you remember what happened to Moi University? There were some conflicts on who was going to head as the vice chancellor. And you remember the politicians from that area sat down and said that they wanted one of their own. And by then there was a Professor Airo who was very much competent. But since he was not coming from that area, the area local leaders said that it was not good for him to continue being the VC. And since Airo left as the VC, what the University of Moi has gone through is something that is not good, and they have so many debts, just like other universities. The question is, where is the money going? What you can say is that if you can also remember what happened to Masai Mara University, there was an exposure of what was going on and it was perpetrated by the leadership of that university. I think mismanagement is part of what has caused problems to the public universities, and it is mismanagement and corruption, which, if you dig into it, you find that even politicians are also part of it. Yeah, I think that is the better clarification. Yeah, you find that politicians are also part of it. It is so unfortunate that even a university that is an international university, a public university that has been set in a particular place, or a particular region, the people from that region want to look into it like a private thing. And they even tend to bring politics in it. A public university where people coming from all over the country and even outside the country. It is so unfortunate, so unfortunate that that public university are currently going through that problem. And maybe to say something, there is no any justification of all those debts, because we've got so many private universities which are also doing so well. They do not, they are managing. And what does that tell you? That the money that they're getting is quite enough. And what really matters is management. We are seeing so many private universities coming up. If it is matter of students not paying fee, they would not be coming up. And so what you can say is that management are the ones which are mismanaging and taking more of the resources from the people of Kenya and from those universities. It is so unfortunate that the political class and the administration, they are learned, they got the education, and so they are trying to stop the poor people from accessing and getting the right education. And that is how I can put it. There's this comment from Father Danny saying, Kenya can waive the debts and have proper chancellors. Yeah, they can. There's quite a number. If you remember, Egerton had the same, and I think there was some money that was waived. And you know what is happening is, it's not a matter of even waiver. They do waive. But why would you allow people to squander money or to get into corrupt dealings, take money, siphon money from the public institution, and then the taxes of the people of Kenya, when a waiver is done, then it's so unfortunate. It's also unfortunate. Why should Kenyan universities have vice chancellors and no full chancellor or university president? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Private universities are doing well and they do not have problems in matters of finance, and they're growing. Why is it that public institutions, public universities, which are known, which are even attracting students from outside the republic, are not managing? It is so unfortunate. It's all a matter of management, and that is how I can put it. Yeah, so I would want to end it at this, and to really say a big thank you to everyone who joined us, everyone who actively engaged us at the comment section. We are very, very much happy and we appreciate. And now I want to take this opportunity I would now want to take this opportunity to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us. We really appreciate. And if you're watching us for the first time, this is Brother Benson Media. Kindly like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll really appreciate. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow as we'll be continuing the conversation. Father Danny, you can reach us via that number that is running on the screen, and we will have more discussion on how we can have that discussion over here. Thank you so much, everyone, and God bless you. See you again tomorrow.